I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of HBCU Coaches Corner. I'm your host, Rocky Miller, along with my co-host, Mr. Stephen Campbell, and our featured host, none other than the SWAC legend himself, Mr. Johnny Cole. Now, this is a very special episode. We're sitting here on August the 25th, Tuesday, about less than 48 hours away from the first HBCU game being tipped off, played in Thibodaux, Louisiana, where Mississippi Valley would take on Nicholls State. With that being said, what's up, Mr. Campbell, and how you doing, Coach?
Man, I'm doing good, Coach, man. Just trying to hang in here and keep this show going on the road and bring these excellent guys in here, man, to sell their universities, the schools, and of course sell themselves, and opportunity just to get to know our coaches. So that's a great feeling.
What about you, Mr. Campbell? How you feeling as we're approaching week 0?
Well, listen, man, we had a great show last night, sipping on Sundays on a Monday. Me, Zophils, and the third member now, Coach Teddy Keaton, man, did our big game of the week, man, broke it down, had a real good time, man, got Scotty on, man. It's here, man. We don't have to do no news articles no more. We can actually talk about games and things like that. So, man, excited to see my homeboy T-Buck, because he's the one coming out the gate first. And, and then Deshaun Jackson is doing the same thing over there on Thursday night. I think they play on Thursday night, too, with Delaware State. And like I say, so, man, we're here. And like I said, a big weekend. Like I say, Coach got a huge weekend. 2 Blue Bloods, Tennessee State, Jackson State, and Nashville. The old rivalry is back. Coach, you know a lot about that rivalry. You coached in that rivalry. So I'm just excited to talk to Coach Barlow and, like I say, and see how Big Blue gets back to being Big Blue.
That's right. That's right. That's our special guest in my cue to introduce. He was the head coach at Alabama State, won. He went to head coach at Virginia State, won. He went to the XFL, won. This is one of our outstanding African-American black coaches, and now he's at Tennessee State, and I don't expect no different. And I also got a chance, I guess I'll tell my age, I was an old young coach, and watching this little bow-leg, tall, butt sticking out guy just catch pass after pass after pass. He was an outstanding wide receiver and part of their national championship team. My friend, my frat brother, I think he's gonna get Tennessee State. Well, I know he's gonna get Tennessee State going in the right direction. Coach Reggie Barlow.
That's what I was looking for right there.
Coach, how you doing, man? How you doing today?
How's it going, brother? Everything is good, man. I appreciate the introduction, man. And yeah, you've been my guy a long time, man. Appreciate you guys allowing me to be on the show.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we're gonna thank you too, man. You got a rival, and you know about rivals being in the SWAC conference. This is an old one, Jackson State, Tennessee State. Last time Jackson State came up to Memphis, Moby Dick was a tadpole. So Nashville instead of Memphis, and big game. Glad you had a little time to share with us your thoughts going into this game, how you feel about your team, your coaching staff, and all the things that you've been through in the offseason. Where we at as far as Tennessee State moving forward?
Yeah, man, Tennessee State, obviously humble and blessed to be here at this university. Last year around this time, brother, we were still learning guys' name because we had just got here, and it was crazy, man. But have an opportunity to go through winter conditioning with our guys, to go through spring football with them, have summer access, had them here for the summer for the most part, and then of course training camp. Love our staff. Our coordinators have lots of experience. Said Thornton, who's been in the SWAC and coached as a defensive coordinator. He's our coordinator at Alabama State, so know him well, and he's done a great job of organizing and getting our defense ready to rock and roll. And then Coach Matt Leone, really didn't know Coach Leone, had heard a lot about him, knew that he was pretty good. I had a chance to spend some time with him, and was blessed to get him to come on our staff. Him and Coach Mack, our O-line coach, coming from North Carolina Central. So feel really good about those guys. They both men have done a really good job of getting our offense and defense on the same page and working together. So excited about that. And then, of course, in this day and age in college football, there's a lot of change and new guys come in, guys leave, and it's no different for us. We've had some new guys that have come on our team that's gelling together and doing some good stuff, man. So all in all, we've been, pretty healthy for the most part in training camp, and we're looking forward. Man, this is the John Merritt Classic, as you mentioned, Jackson State. We know the history and tradition of that university and all the great players that played there. Me being a SWAC guy, I obviously played against them as a player, coached against them for many years there with Cummings and some of the other coaches were there. So, should be fun. Here in Nashville, playing over at Vandy Stadium. We won't be in Nissan, we'll be at Vandy. So, Coach T.C. Taylor, man, obviously, man, he's done a great job for Jackson State. They've won championships. So, man, this should be a fun day.
Yeah. Open up with such a powerful game, and then, of course, you being a second-year coach with an all-new coaching staff, what are some of the things that you see on film from Jackson State that either, brings an eyebrow open, or you see some things that you can explore?
Yeah, so Jackson, obviously, man, they're in a similar boat to many colleges across the country. Their O line, obviously, you got a returning tackle, big old kid that's getting a lot of attention from an NFL standpoint. But outside of him, there's a lot of guys that are new to their team. From the center position, guard. They got a big old tackle from Mississippi State that came to them. So they got some new guys too, but. Just looking at their games from last year from a schematic standpoint, their defensive coordinator, man, that he's really good. He's been good for a long time over there. He kind of set the presence and the mindset for their defense. And, they a 3-down team for the most part, tight front. But they do a good job and they play hard. That's the thing you got to know about Jackson State, man. They're going to play hard. They're going to be tough. They're going to have good defense. And then offensively, Lockhart, the backup quarterback from last year, who did get some playing time after the other young man got hurt. This is a big old kid, big arm, 6'4". He can throw it, he can run it. And, of course, Coach Taylor and their offensive coordinator, they want to run the ball, man, so we got to be able to stop the run. And they got a really good running back, thick kid that can run for power and can run for speed. So we got to be able to tackle the ball.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you coming into your second year, you almost got a complete new coaching staff. And, I know you have your philosophy in place. What are some of the kids did they return, or did you guys have to go out and kind of revamp the whole program?
No, did our guys return, or you said?
Yeah. Did you have a lot of guys returning from last year?
Yeah, so our skill guys, man. We got Poach. Our receivers, our best 2 receivers last year. One went to Kennesaw State, the other one went to North Alabama. That was 70 catches, so we got to figure that out, bring that back. We had some specialists leave. Our punter went to Missouri, so we had to replace him. Our best offensive lineman last year got 320 to go to Boston College, so we had to replace some guys, man. But again, our coaches have done a good job of casting the net and trying to find other guys to replace the guys that left. And we added some guys. We added Cam Bullock, who's a receiver from Alabama, played over at Murray, big, tall kid that's had a good camp. We've had a few other guys, signed some high school guys. In this day and age, some of these high school guys come in, they got to be able to contribute. So for the ones that left, obviously we wish them well, but we've added some guys that we think will give us a chance to be competitive and compete on a high level.
Yeah. Well, of course, Reggie, you playing a wide receiver. I know you value a quarterback. You know, and we all know in the SWAC, when you have one of them quarterbacks, you know, you got a chance to win it all. What about that room there, the quarterback room?
Yeah, so last year, man, like I said, we got here late. Really wasn't a quarterback on the roster. All the guys that transferred out, but we were able to sign two high school quarterbacks. Justin Patton, he enrolled early, so he's a very mature quarterback. Obviously, it would be a lot to ask a true freshman to go out there, but that guy, he can do it. He can play. And Paul Jones is another freshman quarterback that we signed. We did grab Dalen Lee. He was at Winston-Salem. Got a lot of experience, played a lot of football, over 5,000 or so yards passing, 55 touchdowns in his career. So you're talking about an experienced guy who's, really seen it, played against pretty good competition. And then we got a transfer quarterback from South Florida, Marcellus Tate. And Marcellus is extremely good, tall kid. Both of those guys are really big guys at 6'3" or so. Marcellus is more dual than some of the other guys, but certainly feel good. And Coach Leone has done a good job of, getting them to buy in and have ownership in that offense. So me being a receiver, I would love to play for either one of those guys because they all have their own specialty, but all are really solid quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna take it all. You know, you my buddy. We can talk offline on all. I'm gonna turn it over to my guys.
Right on. Appreciate you.
Hey, Coach, I'm gonna let Mr. Campbell get in, and he discusses, the roster and stuff. What I'd like to talk about is the man who leads the program, and kind of get your perspective of where you are in your journey as a head coach at Tennessee State. Coach, unlike a lot of coaches who get an opportunity, you already had significant head coaching experience. And what did you pull in your first year from your experience at Virginia State and also at Alabama State that allowed you to kind of weather the storm, so to speak, because you guys did have a rough year to start out with?
Yeah, it's I appreciate that question too, Rock. It's sticking to your guard, man. Under stress and pressure, the most rehearsed action will arise. And we had some stress and pressure last year. And, we've been blessed. I think this is going on year 18 or 19 for me being a head coach. The way we practice, the way we meet, the way that we communicate with each other. We've kind of built that thing over the years, and it has worked. And obviously, when you're experiencing, the type of stuff that we experienced last year, you can question and worry and think, hey, is this, what we need to be doing? But we feel comfortable and confident in how we manage and run teams and how we've done it in the past. Obviously, you always got to adjust. You got to make some changes, and we've done that. But for the most part, how we meet, how we hold guys accountable. I think, how we make training camp, a little bit tougher than what we've done in the past. But learned a lot last year as a coach. And, how it is. Every year you're going to learn something new, something different. But it's good to have good coaches around you. You got to have that. Guys that are passionate, guys that are going to pour into the student athlete, and most importantly, guys that's going to be on the same vision that the head coach has. Because without being on the same vision as the head coach, then that's division, and we don't want to have that.
It's interesting. People just really look at a record and try to determine how competent a coach is, Coach. But you came in, first of all, in a very difficult situation because you came in late. Not only that, let's just say this. There were some things going on behind the scenes that probably made your job a little more difficult as well. Can you just talk to us briefly about what's the status of that situation? Has it been rectified? Have they, worked out the situation with the AD and kind of talk about, how that may have affected your ability to be successful, navigating that space? Because I think that's very important. We see coaches are judged so harshly on wins and losses, but there's so much other stuff that goes on that I think the general public, to get full context of how difficult it is to win, you have to understand some of the things that you guys deal with behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot that comes with this position. Managing a team, it's not always just X's and O's. It's fundraising. It's meeting with people outside of the team. It's we've had two kids lose their grandparents over the last
Wow.
8 days. It's been a mentor, it's been a counselor for those guys. So obviously, there's a lot of stuff that take place, man. I tell you what, Tennessee State, we have an amazing president here, Mr. Tucker, President Tucker, who manages the school the right way. Mr. Jerome Oglesby, who's the vice president, his right hand man. Those guys have done a good job of managing not just athletics, but managing the university. And it is what it is as far as last year. Um, we learned a lot. We had to be resilient. Our team, it's hard when you're not having success, but you still got to go and line up and be a team. So we did that, man. And the other stuff behind the scene, it has to work itself out. A lot of stuff we can't really talk about strongly, but it happens, man. We're wishing the best for everybody. At the end of the day, man, this is a tough business that we all decided to join and be a part of. But we wish everybody well, man, and we want to support our coaches that are here. The group of coaches that are here, man, I love them, love supporting them, and we're all supporting each other.
Last question I'm gonna ask you, then I'm gonna turn you over to Mr. Campbell. Before taking this job and entering last season, what is it that you wish you would have known before taking this job? And second part of it is, what did you know that helped you in being successful in this job?
Well, the thing that the tradition and all the guys that had laid the foundation here and the great coaches that have been through here, just coming a bit. I had heard all about Tennessee State growing up. My high school coach went to Tennessee State, Steve Holloway. He used to tell me about Tennessee State. He wanted to get me to come up here. I didn't get recruited here, but so I knew a bunch about the university in terms of history and tradition. But what I thought I knew, I had no idea how much tradition and all the wonderful former football players. And I knew about former football players, but I didn't know about the Tiger Bells and all the gold medals and silver medals and the bronze medals that they've gotten here. I didn't know Earth, Wind, and Fire, one of their Mr. White went here, Chico DeBarge and Oprah Winfrey, and just so all of those people, Ed T. Tall Jones getting drafted #1 overall. But so those were all the things that I was really attracted to. Obviously, and at our HBCUs, man, there's always some resources and stuff that we may lack, and you got to be creative in how you go about it. And we've done it at ASU, and we did it at Virginia State in terms of making things work, doing more with less. And we're going to be asked to do that here. So we'll get it done. And we talk about being better and not bitter, learn from last year, and having a grasshopper mindset. And let's leap forward instead of looking backwards.
Coach, one thing, before you start, you coached on the XFL, and I wouldn't do it no service to say it's the semi-pro, but it's the professional league. You coached on the professional league in the XFL. It's like in between, but they're professional. Do you see I'm pretty sure, what is the difference coaching at that level and coaching at the Division I-A or AA level? That's
a great question, Coach. Man, so when I was blessed to get the job there with the DC Defenders, interviewed by The Rock, right? How about getting interviewed by that guy for a job? And then the executives, man, I'm so grateful for that league. They gave me a chance, man. It came from out of nowhere. And they obviously wanted to know, could we handle it? And we had to build, they hired me as a coach and the GM the first year. And then it was basically you got to go out and hire a player personnel guy. You got to hire your football ops, and then you got to hire coaching staff. And we wanted to have a heavy contingent of HBCU coaches. Our coach staff, except Greg Williams and Jamie Sharper, were all HBCU former coaches or whatever. And out of the 4 years that the league has been around, the DC Defenders played for the championship 3 times. And right now, the team is led by Shannon Harris, who's also a Tennessee State grad, and was our coach with us. But I'll tell you, man, to go up against Wade Phillips, Bob Stoops, and numerous of other guys. I think the first year we had some other players, Rod Woodson and a few other guys. But yeah, I just think, man, the preparation, the same preparation that we did at Virginia State. I mean, it was the same type deal. Hey, when you was the OC, you gave your receiver coach, hey, man, I want you to be responsible for coverages. I want you to tell me about their DBs. And O-line coach, I want you to tell me about their D-line. And then guys collabing and coming up with a game plan that everybody have a little input. And then, of course, going out there. But one of the major things that I was proud of as a head coach in the XFL and the UFL is we picked our team. So it's just like recruiting. We drafted these guys, and the guys that we drafted, like I said, have played for the championship 3 years out of the 4 years that the league has been around. So I think that speaks to us HBCU coaches getting a chance and going. I mean, Kais is the offensive coordinator. He had been at HBCU his whole life. Shannon Harris had been at HBCU his whole life. We grabbed a few other guys that were HBCU coaches, man, and actually just went and did our thing. So kudos to them. They didn't win it this year, man, but our quarterback got hurt. And like you mentioned earlier, man, when you lose, we was down to the third quarterback there. So that was the reason why we didn't have, probably win the championship for the second time in a row.
Yeah. Looking at your career, Coach, you came in as an assistant, and of course you jumped to being a coordinator, and then you were able to be successful as a head coach. I mean, not a coach. You jumped to a head coach, and you were successful as a head coach. And then now you've had that great experience as an XFL. First of all, and you was the NFL football player. Let me get that out, Rocky. He was
He's a celebrity coach for sure.
A celebrity coach, yeah. Let's say celebrity, but he actually went back to his school, and I commend Alabama State. I mean, they've hired Reggie Barlow, professor NFL, but he got some experience first. Hired Eddie Robinson, NFL. He got some experience first. Both of them worked up under the same guy, Coach Malcolm. Coach, with all that, and we don't get the opportunity to coach at the big PWIs, man. Do you ever sit and think about that? Is that still, maybe one of, I ain't saying it's the bucket list, but could be one of your things that you would mind having the opportunity to do? Yeah. So I guess I'm asking you a 2 question about the celebrity coach with no experience, ain't been to no HBCU, they get the most money and they get the highest position, or that man, you got to have some experience before you sit in that head coaching job. So I don't know why they doing that and expecting results. You know what I mean? So what is your take on that?
Yeah, Johnny, that's a great question, man. And I tell you what, man, just guys like yourself, man, that have won at every place that you've been at, man. And for some reason, we think it's a different football, or they think it's a different football when you're talking about building a team, grabbing that team, getting an identification who that team is. But it's not, you just can't walk and be a head coach, man. I'm grateful for Alabama State and gave me a head coaching job. I think I've been coaching. I got a little experience under Charlie Cole, Thanks to him for hiring me. But the whole PWI thing, man, I think, I didn't mention this, but that was another attractive thing about the Tennessee State job. It was HBCU, but we play in a unique conference. We play in a predominantly white conference, OVC. So that was attractive too. That now you get a chance to be at an HBCU. You play against those type schools, and you have opportunity to go and see how you measure up. And if you have that type of success, then hey, you may parlay that into like Eddie. I mean, Eddie came here and he won it in his 4th year, I think, or 5th year, and had a chance to parlay that through some help to the school that he's at now. So I think our experience, Coach Johnny, at the UFL, XFL, it showed. And I think people like Stephen A. Smith and all those guys that brought me on their show when we were coaching there to lighten that. Like, hey, man, these guys been coaching HBCU, but they can coach ball. So very appreciative of those type of opportunities, man. And you always want to see how you measure up against what's supposed to be the best. So having the opportunity to do that at some point would be great.
Hey, Coach, let me just say this before we move on, Coach. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Last year was a rough year, but you had a 600 winning percentage against those black schools, Coach. Coach, you had a 600 winning percentage. You won 2 out of 3, if I'm not mistaken, Coach. So if you had more black schools on your schedule, your record may have been different. Now, I'm just saying that.
I know, right? They're supposed to rank us off the HBCU schools, right? Not off of just the other schools we play against, right? So.
No, Coach. But no, I just wanted to mention that. That's what I looked at your record, your record last year, coaching against Howard Hampton, and you almost went 3 for 3, Coach. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say this, Coach. I watched the game. You should have went 3 for 3. Be perfectly honest with you. And you lost by 2 points against Alabama A&M. But no, Coach. I just wanted to mention that because sometimes you got schools at the HBCU level that because they don't go play other schools, they have a record that may not be it's more impressive record, but maybe not as good a team. And I'll leave that right there. Go ahead, Mr. Campbell.
Coach, listen, you named Oprah Winfrey, you named Chico the Barge, but look, you see the folks behind me, Coach.
Yeah.
This is what Tennessee State is built off right here, Coach.
Yeah.
The Ed Utah Jones and the Richard Dents and guys like that. True blue blood. Tennessee State's a blue blood football program. And Coach, one of the things about it, wow, you got in there late, but you said something that's very important. Eddie George won the conference just a couple of years ago at that school. Coach Colin won the conference when they were there. So the one thing about Tennessee State, and everybody knows their history, Tennessee State will go any place, anytime, beat anybody's behind anytime. So, Coach, one of the things I think most impressive, as you said, you literally show how well you could coach because you coached the players enough where they could go get $325,000.
Right.
They didn't get that unless they were coached up really well. Right. So I say that to tell you, let's not say woe is for Coach Barlow because Coach Barlow can coach. Because if you could come in there in 1 year and have guys going Power 5 within a year, that says a lot about your coaching ability. And I think, once again, it's not like this is Tennessee State. Again, you just got in there late. You guys just won the conference. So I think, Coach, there's a lot of things when people look at Tennessee State. And honestly, traditionally, Tennessee State is the best program in the state of Tennessee, pound for pound, as far as winning percentage, as far as Hall of Famers, as far as championships, and things like that. So I think you're the right person. So I think, even though the record didn't reflect it because, A, you didn't get a time to get your people in there. But now let's talk about the recruiting because now you're starting to get your people in there. You talked about, Dalen Lee, and I thought that was very important to get an experienced quarterback. Now, let me ask you a question. When he was in the portal, and we've seen D2 quarterbacks come up and make an impact, what made it, was it you? Oh, I know it was you, but what made him come to Tennessee State? Because I know he was a hot commodity when he was in the portal.
Yeah, man, I commend Mayshak. Mayshak was our GM who now is not here. He went to Texas. Texas got him. So we not only did we have players leaving, we had our GMs and stuff getting picked by bigger schools. So Mayshak was the guy that identified Dalen Lee as a quarterback. an experienced quarterback who had played a lot of time, had a lot of snaps, and obviously we watched him, and he, like they said, he had played a lot of games, had a lot of experience. So we started the conversation with him. Obviously, he had some other stuff going on, and he was putting us to like the side chick or whatever, but we stayed after it. Build a good camaraderie with him. Had him come over and visit. Spent some time over here in Nashville, spent some time with us. And then at the end there, he came on and say he wanted to go ahead and join us and be a Tiger. So definitely happy he's here because of the experience that he have. And then, like we mentioned, Marcellus Tate, man, he's young. He was at South Florida for a year, got redshirted, but he's a guy that's long. He can run, he can throw. Just a really good athlete. Played at Jacksonville, in Jacksonville, Florida. So he's Florida boy. He's a good player.
Well, we definitely know about that Florida talent. Coach, I want to talk about two sides of the ball and talk about guys that's coming back, because you got a lot of guys on the preseason OVC football watch list. So I'm kind of going to go down, and so you can highlight some of these guys and what do you think they're going to do this year and how you're going to coach up. So, Coach, on the defensive line, you got Bryce Gray, a sophomore. Tell us about Bryce and what do you see for him coming this year?
Bryce Gray, man, Uncle Brother. That's what they call him because he's like your uncle. He's a old soul, but he is probably the most physical football player. Well, it's a tie. He's a physical young man. He's not big and tall in stature, but he's extremely strong. He understands leverage. He plays fast. He got great get off. He played as a freshman last year for us. Really solid football player. Practice hard every day. Every rep is going to have a life of its own. And he's going to play and he's going to be dominant. So definitely happy to have him back.
Now, Coach, right behind him, you got a great linebacker, Sammy Taylor, a junior. Again, another guy that is coming back, got some experience. What's Sammy? What we gonna look for Sammy?
Man, we're always saying run like Sammy because everything he do it fast, man. He is, he's one of those guys that just come to work hard every day. He's a long 6'2.5", 6'3", long linebacker that can run. He's a physical guy, running to the ball. Guys really respect him. I believe he'll be an all-conference linebacker this year. He's a guy that starts at linebacker, but also is very, very good on special teams as well. We play him on punt. We play him on punt return. But just a solid football player, plays the game the right way, and have a lot of respect for him and how he comes to work every day.
Now, and Coach, it doesn't stop now. Now I'm named your D-line. You got a linebacker, but you also got a defensive back. Now I've been trying to work on this name. It's Sincere. Is it Fulala? Is that how you pronounce it? Your defensive back?
It's Sincere for me. It's Sincere.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Sincere. Clearly, he's not sincere enough. We go snatch those balls from the quarterbacks. What do you see for him, Coach? And why is he on the preseason all-watch list?
Yeah, so Sincere is a 6'2.5", 6'3" cornerback. He's long. He's from Nashville. His dad played here at Tennessee State. He went to Nebraska out of high school, so he's a 3-4 star young man. So he's on there. He played a lot last year, started most of the games last year. Sincere, the sky's the limit with this young man. Like I said, the size that he have, they talk about GMP around here, get mom paid. He could be one of those guys get mom paid by having a really good year and making sure that he's covering guys on the opposing team.
Now, Coach, I one of the things that I'm most impressed with, especially at HBCU, and Coach, you've been around it, is when I see a punter that's on a watch list. Because, Coach, listen, while you're an offensive guy, a punter could be your best friend and back the team up. Now, Coach, how is your punter? And tell us about Davion Moore, and he's on that watch list.
Yeah, so Davion Moore is a Virginia guy. When I was at Virginia State, we were just leaving, and he was just coming out of high school, and he started out over there. He finished up at Bowie State. The thing I like about Davion is, he can do it all, man. He's one of those guys that he's not just a punter. He's not just your place kicker. I mean, he can kick off. He can do punts. He can rugby punt as well as kick field goals. So he's had a He's had a really good fall camp, being consistent, being multiple, and being able to do a lot of things. So we're happy he's here.
Now, Coach, one of the two things now, once again, you're a big play guy. You got two guys. You got your kick return specialist and you got your punt return specialist. You got Jaden Jones and Anthony Taylor, and both young guys, sophomores. Now, what do you think, Coach, that you're going to see from them as far as in the special teams game?
Yeah, so Anthony Taylor played here last year as a true freshman kid from, I think, San Diego, California. But he came on, man, and did some good stuff for us. Learned the playbook, was a starting punt returner. Now, we didn't do the best job of getting him started as an old punt returner. You get me started, then I got a chance, all right, to make guys miss. So we didn't do a good job of that for him. But with him and Jaden Jones, both of those guys are pretty electric. Those punt return, kickoff return type guys. So looking forward to them having a solid season. The most important part of being a punt return, kick return is getting the ball to your offense. And those guys do a good job of staying square on the ball, making sure they are keeping it and catching it.
Coach, now, I think we had Coach Mickey on from Grambling, and he talked about how he didn't have a long snapper. Coach, you actually have a long snapper, Steven Nelson, who was on the watch list, one of the most unsung positions, Coach. And Coach Mick was like, hey, we didn't have a guy, and that's why we wouldn't even punt because of situations like that. Coach, how is that you got a long snapper? What kind of kid is this? He's one, when you're talking about long snapper, sometimes the guys are walk-ons, but a lot of times they're really cerebral, and those are the guys that start practice and end practice hard.
Yeah, so a lot of this stuff came out. Steven Nelson, obviously now, he was an old lineman that did some long snapping for us during the springtime and last year. But Steven is a really good offensive lineman, and he's going to help us at the O-line position. We have had some guys at the time here recently this fall that have come on to be on our team from a long snapping standpoint. So that duty won't be Steve's duty to start at, but he'll definitely be a guy that we'll have as for depth.
So he's gonna play more and help you out on the offensive line.
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Coach, let's get on your side of the ball. You're an offensive guy. Coach, listen, you've done it all in the air, but let's talk about your running back. Let's talk about Zach Brown. Again, and Coach, what I keep seeing is a theme here. Young guys, sophomores, and things like that. Guys that clearly that you have identified that either through transfer portal or you recruited. But let's talk about why is he on the watch list?
Yeah, Zach Simmons Brown is a kid from Alabama. Played at a really good high school over there. I can't even think of the Central. I can't think of the school now, but really good running back, really good high school football player. He came here last year, was a solid backup because we had Kendrick Rhymes, who was a really good player. But Simmons Brown is a really good running back, man. He does a good job. He can run inside. He's not the biggest guy, but he can run inside. But definitely a guy that can run on the edge and, is a guy that can hit the home run.
Coach, I'm starting to see a theme here. I see another sophomore, Cam Bullock, your wide receiver. Coach, wait a minute, what that recruited coach, hold on now. Is this going to be the class that's going to bring those championships back? Because I keep saying sophomore, and I see a couple of more on this list. So, Coach, I want you, when I finish up with these guys, I want you to talk, because this seems like this is a very special class. Coach, what about Cam Bullock and being a sophomore? And what do you see for him? Because he played your position.
Man, Cam is from the same spot that where Simmons Brown is from. So definitely a really good football player, wide receiver, good size. We wanted to get bigger at the wide receiver position from last year. We did lose two guys from last year, but Cam brings the type of experience that we want out of that wide receiver room. He was able to get here this spring, which was extremely important that he was here this spring. And he's been the guy. He's been a dude for us this training camp. So looking forward to him having a real solid year. 60 catches or more would be a good year for him.
Now, Coach, you got another sophomore, your tight end. So, like I say, I see some explosive. So, Aaron Duncan, is he a guy? Are you going to put him tight on the line? Are you going to stretch him out? Coach, what are you going to look from Duncan from the tight end position?
Yeah, Aaron Duncan is a pro, man. He's a big old kid, 6'3", 6'4", runs really good routes, have good hands, snatches the ball out of the air, physical in the running game. And, he's a guy when you, in this day and era, um, we love having 11 personnel, love having 12 personnel. So you got to have those type tight ends that you can do multiple things with.
Coach, I'm going to keep saying this again. I keep seeing this popping up. Breon Brown, another sophomore, offensive lineman. They're talking about he's going to be all conference. Coach, talk to me about Brian. Talk to us about that offensive line and what they look like.
Yeah, so Breon transferred here from JMU, James Madison, which, obviously is a really good university. Those guys win a lot of games over there. So wanted to get bigger at the O-line position. Breon is about 6'4", 6'5". He has length, and he's a solid player. He can play guard for you. He can play tackle for you. So we're looking forward to him having a solid year. I mean, he lost his brother. We talked about having to be a counselor maybe about a month ago. So he's dealing with that. But we're looking forward to him, being a heavy contributor for us on the offensive line.
Coach, I got one last player that I want to bring up. And again, another sophomore, your place kicker, which we all know the kicking game is so important. You've got a punter that's on the watch list. You got a place kicker on the watch. Britton Watts, a sophomore, another sophomore. Coach, how confident are you in Watts making that big kick against Jackson State this weekend?
Yeah, we've been putting those guys through pressure, man. We bring the whole team up and let them holler and throw stuff at them and all type of stuff just to distract them. But we're happy to have him here. Obviously, as you mentioned in special teams, your kicking game has to be good. And those guys, Davion and Britton, those guys are integral pieces of our special team squads.
Coach, I named like 9 sophomores. What is it about those guys? And and again, I know you got to coach everybody, but I know a lot of coaches I've talked to, when they see a special class, a group of guys, they kind of go to them, I expect more out of you. You need to be leaders. Are you challenging these guys? Because now their names are getting in lights, Coach, as sophomores. Are you kind of looking at these guys to say, hey, I'm going to push them a little bit hard because I know they have the potential to be great here at Tennessee State?
Yeah, we want to know what they want from this. Many of them want to go and get paid, whether it's going and getting the money from a FBS school or getting a chance to go play in the NFL. And we hold them to those standards. So, in this day and age in football, guys that are seniors, and if they're dominant players, they rarely stay on this level now. So you'll end up with a bunch of freshmen and a bunch of sophomore guys. And, that's kind of like the pattern. But the guys, as we mentioned, our coaches did a good job of casting the net and bringing these guys aboard. Johnny Johnson, our GM, and Brandon Taylor that works in personnel and the coaches. So, it's all about bringing on good players. We are only as good as our players as coaches.
Coach, we done heard Campbell go through this roster, Coach, and he done went up in that. He kept seeing sophomores. Coach, are you going? First off, do you have all these young men's permission slips signed before you go to? They play Jackson State on Saturday. That's the first thing. The second thing, Coach, why are you taking a bunch of sophomores to go play the HBCU boogeyman? Do you realize what kind of danger you putting those young men in?
Man, I tell you what, like I said, we have so much respect for Jackson State, and we know, they're a physical team. They've always been that. The program has always been that. And, our guys, man, are looking forward to the opportunity to go and play. They've worked really hard. They've been resilient. They've bounced back from bad days. So I commend our players and our coaches on that. So we got a few more days to prepare for the great Jackson State. And, and then get a chance to go out and see how we measure up against them.
So, Coach, I want to ask you this, Coach. If, in fact, y'all able to go out and get a victory on Saturday, what will have had to happen on Saturday afternoon for your team?
Yeah, well, it starts with the ball. The football is the program. So it's us taking care of the ball. You got to be opportunistic. There's the gonna have to be a possession or two stolen by us if we want to have a chance to, beat Jackson State. But taking care of the football, you're talking about plus 6+ explosives, whether that's runs or in the pass. And then on special teams, man, we got to be wider than the wider, deeper than the deepest. And if it wiggle, man, we got to hit. So that's the mindset, and that's the approach that we'll have when we go out there. I'm excited, man, that we get a chance to go up against a program like Jackson State and the John Merritt Classic. I'm envious of our players, man, that they get to play in a game of this magnitude, first game of the season, that they get to go out and play and show their stuff, man. And we got a lot of people that's going to be here. We know Jackson State travels well, and a lot of people from Tennessee State and around this state and bordering states will be here for this game. So it should be a lot of fun.
Coach, I want to ask you this question. Your DC.
Hey, Coach, you're going to have to get off mute. Coach was trying to talk, but you're on mute, Coach.
Well, let me ask this quick question, Rocky, real quick. Coach,
Okay.
Your DC, Cedric Thornton. He said them Tigers from 14 on Lynch Street ain't gonna coach. Coach, did you know that he was gonna make this statement on this show? And when you heard about it, did you say, hey, man, what are you doing? Or you like that your coach kind of did? Or you kind of in the middle, hey, man, this is what it is. You know what? I'm here to just coach. Coach can say whatever.
Yeah, Coach Thornton and I, we've been knowing each other since 18 years old, man. We went to college together the same year at Alabama State. We went to the NFL the same year together. And, Thornton is from Jackson, Mississippi, man. And, people have been jugging at him and talking. And I think it was unjust. And him just speaking and confident of his preparation and him having our defense ready to go out and compete. And as mentioned, he's from Jackson, man, and I know it will mean a lot to him to go have some success against Jackson State. So he's been a quality coach for a long time, so he knows what he's doing.
Can you repeat what he said, Mr. Campbell?
Well, let me find. I want to find the clip, but basically, to paraphrase, that he said Jack State was not going to score. That was a paraphrase, but I'll get the quote because I know Coach want to ask quote. But let me pull that quote up. But again, I'm not going to belabor the point because Coach kind of answered it and things like that. But Coach, like you said, he's from Jackson. This is a big. I'm from Jackson, Coach, and the one game that you knew, and I'll be honest with you, and it's kind of things have kind of changed because of what it was. But I'm talking about I was in the height of the greatness of Tennessee State and what they were. And one thing about when you saw Tennessee State on Jackson State's schedule, that was not no guaranteed win. And more likely than not, unfortunately, during those times, Jackson State would beat everybody in the SWAC, and the one loss they have would be to Tennessee State. And I'm talking about close. So Coach Thornton, again, like you said, grew up with that. So I can understand the passion and everything that comes by it because he's from Jack and because of the great rivalry between the two schools. So I totally get it. I totally understand it.
Right on. Yeah.
Coach, when they were getting this game together, I can imagine, you coming in your second year, new coaching staff, that you would want to open up with Jackson State. Of course, we know it used to be in the Southern Heritage Classic down in the season, because, I coached there. Man, to open up with them, I guess the best thing about it is, and I can't say it doesn't count, but because it does, were you a part of them opening up? And because do you guys go to them next year? How's that work?
So I wasn't a part of that. I was still, this schedule, this has been done for some years now. Well, maybe a year or so, probably like right before I came on. So they started this home and home. So they come here this year, and then we go to Jackson next year. And then I'm not sure if it'll continue to go like that. But I do know our alum and their alum, they've been wanting this game. And our fans, because of us playing the OVC, they like for us to play, some HBCUs just to have that, that camaraderie with the HBCU schools. But, so I wasn't a part of it. Everybody does schedules different. I heard somebody talking about, Texas Southern opening up with Prairie View, division game like that. So, man, people do these schedules. And for me as a coach, I just want to coach the team and, when we go to collab next year on future schedules, then we'll definitely, have some conversations about, how we do it, who we play, and that type of stuff. But I mean, we're excited, get a chance to go play against them at home, for our guys and our team. So you'll never, with how things are now, man, you'll never say you can have the same staff for the next 3 years, the next 5 years, or the same team. So, it's kind of changed a whole bunch.
Wow. Well, yeah.
So,
Well, TSU and Prairie View now they both got beginner games. TSU opened up with North Carolina Central, and of course Prairie View opened up with Tarleton State.
Okay, cool.
You were mentioning something. How you feel. Being in your position of the uncertainty of now. Damn, who I'm gonna be coaching next year? Who gonna be the coach here? That's tough to be up underneath, as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, man, I think experience. I've been, like I said, I've been a head coach 18 or 19 years. I can't quite figure out which one it is, but and I've seen it different ways. My first few years as a head coach, I was impatient and didn't quite, give really good coaches an opportunity to stay on staff. But as I've grown, we've kept guys for a lot of years. At Alabama State, we had the same group of coaches for a long time, and we got let go. But then we rallied those guys back, and they were our coaches for the UFL league. And that's really what it was supposed to be here. To be honest, Kais and Shannon and the whole band was coming here, but they went to the championship. Kais was burned out a little bit, so we weren't able to bring him on. So we ended up, grabbing somebody at the last minute. Not that we grabbed at the last minute, but we had to make a decision on that. Shannon was still, with the UFL and with us. So, it's just the timing of all that stuff last year was just different. And now it's just being in the present. Can't think about next year and who we're gonna have on staff and that type of stuff. I'm excited and happy with the guys we got here now. Dexter Jackson and Coach Matt, Nick Andrews, who played for us, Coach Woods, who's a Memphis guy, was a longtime head coach here at the high schools. So we got some really good coaches. Terrell Bond, our DB coach, played in the league. Dexter Jackson, MVP in the Super Bowl. So we got 2 MVP Super Bowl, defensive MVP Super Bowl winners here. Dexter Jackson on our staff and Richard Dent. So happy with the group that we got here now, man. And, the goal for some of these guys is to be coordinators. The goal for them to be head coaches. So if that opportunity will come for them, you chest bump them and send them on their way and go find somebody else.
Gotcha.
Coach, let me ask you a question. You have Matt Leon, a national championship offense coordinator. What does he bring that you being an offensive guy? So I'm assuming, Coach, you say, hey, you know what? You're going to let Coach, call the play. But what does he bring compared to last year? What do you think your offense is going to look like with Coach Leon calling the plays?
I mean, in 2026, man, it's a lot of people doing the same stuff: inside zone, outside zone, gap scheme runs, RPOs, that type of stuff. I mean, last year we did it, but the terminology was a little different. But I think Coach Leone brings a sense of calmness, professionalism, extremely detail-oriented, great communicator. His system has been really successful and has instant credibility, as the guys have seen of stuff that he's done in the past. So just a solid coach. He's had a lot of history. And, I would have to go back as I was studying him to bring him a part of our team, our staff. I mean, I had to go back a lot of years to see when he didn't average over 30 points a game. So we're happy he's here. And, our offensive guys, they have embraced this offense, and he's been doing a good job with them.
But Coach, I want to make one follow-up before they get in, because I will tell you this: he coached one of the greatest offensive games against Jackson State. And I saw him, I'm sitting low, and I saw him every time with that running back and put Shiloh on that island. And that literally won that game, won the big play, because Shiloh did a pass interference call because he just could, and he saw that matchup over and over and over again. So, Coach, at least you can say that you got a coach on there that's already 1-0 against Jackson State, Coach. So I'm just trying to tell you, that bodes well for you on Saturday.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm happy he's here, man. He's everything that we hoped for and thought. It's good to have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. You turn that stuff over to, and those guys manage it, and they're the head coach of that side of the ball. And that's what Coach Leone has been for us, and Thornton as well.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this. I've been following HBCUs for the last couple of years, about 5 years. Opening up on game one, quarterback situations can be kind of up in the air. And I'll just ask you, Coach, will you run a 2-quarterback system in your first game, or a 3-quarterback system, or will you guys have one, or will you stick with one guy and see, can you work it out with one guy?
Yeah, I'll ask you a question, Rock. Can you keep a secret?
No, I absolutely can't. So I'm not going to even lie.
Oh, okay. I was going to say me too. So. I can keep a secret too, and that's a secret right now. So.
Oh, okay, Coach. Okay, Coach. Yeah. Now, Coach. Now, what would you advise him, Coach Cole, going into the first game? Well, you got something to say about those 2 and 3 and quarterback systems? Go ahead.
Let me say, I can, let me memorize back. I know I beat Jackson State every damn year. At Tennessee State, Alabama State, and Texas Southern. No, but they of course, T.C. Taylor, man, I've coached against the kid. He's a great wide receiver. The team that wins this game, and Coach, man, is who turned the ball over. That's the biggest thing, and Coach been over that. You can't turn the ball over. And the other part is you can't make a whole bunch of mistakes. His first game jitter, Coach been there before. Matter of fact, damn, Coach, I forgot I faced you in the damn SWAC championship.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to be solid. You're going to be close to the best. T.C. Taylor's more of an wide open guy. He's returning his quarterback. So he's going to feel more comfortable of trying to make big plays. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that Coach Thornton is aware of that. Maloney is a guy that's very reserved. And I think, you going in the game with, 2 guys, and of course all the experience that Coach got, that it's gonna be a tough game. It ain't gonna be no blowout or nothing like that. I think
Coach, until you call me on the phone.
Yourself.
Until you called me on the phone during the game and talking about, why is these guys playing 2 quarterbacks? They had all spring, they had all summer to decide on a guy, and they come in on the first day of the season. What they want to do? They want to play 2 quarterbacks. I just don't believe in that. How come we can't get that on air, Coach?
Right.
Hey, like Coach say, man, that's a secret, man. That's the type of things that you got to come in the game. But look what happened to Prairie View. And Coach, I know you've seen the Celebration Bowl. They knocked the first quarterback out, and the second one came out hot as hell.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in this day and time, like Coach say, man, you got so much talent everywhere that anybody can beat you at any time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a hell of a game. Like you said, Coach, I wasn't around to make that decision. I don't think I would have opened up with Jackson State. Not that I'm afraid of them or nothing like that. But give me a gimme game. You know what I'm saying? But that's all about the administration and fundraising and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I tell you, Coach, you starting to have your own tree after 18 years. You got my homeboy Al Vance to be inducted into the Alabama State Hall of Fame. You got Coach Harris, have been back to the XFL twice. Of course, we can't say enough about Fred Keiss and all the success he's had. So hey, boy, you're building your own tree, man.
Yeah, I see, man. Yeah, I'm so happy for Al Vance, man. I remember watching that guy the first time. I was still in the league and go home and train. I said, man, this dude here can play, man. And
Yeah, yeah,
he went put 1,000-yard season up and did some good stuff, man, with Tavares Jackson. So and he's a really good coach too, man. So you guys did a good job of bringing Al Vance there. He's a sharp coach. I need to check on it because he's coaching over at North Carolina A&T, I think, right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
He's a
yeah,
coach.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then Shannon, man, did a great job again last year. Really happy for him, man. He's been a coach of the year over there, and Shannon is the only HBCU former player to win a championship on a pro football level.
Wow,
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
that's never happened. So
Yes. And by the way, if you don't know who Shannon Harris is, he came in after us, played quarterback at Tennessee State, holds passing records there. You know, you can't, and he's been on our show before, so he's one of the great ones.
yeah,
He seems like a quarterback guru because I watched him couple years in a row, and it seemed like he was starting a different quarterback every game, but somehow he was able to, put up enough points to win. So
well, that's what Jordan Tamu tore his ACL, so he had to grab those other guys, and then the second guy wasn't as consistent as they wanted, so they played the third guy, and he got him to the championship, which also speaks to him being a quarterback coach and Coach Kyson them adjusting the offense and being able to go and do what they do. So yeah, kudos to Shannon Harris, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Coach, man, like I said, I appreciate you sharing this time with us, and I know you got to get back to get back focused on this. This is a big one. This is a rival game, and I know you're gonna enjoy it. I know you're gonna have those kids prepared. Is there anything you want to say to the fans, the audience, and maybe why Tennessee State?
Yeah, so I think obviously all of our fans, man, thank you guys for y'all platform and allowing us to come on here and talk about Tennessee State University. Again, man, being here, I got a picture of Big John Merritt over there on the wall, man, that I walk and I look at every day, man. I talk to Big John throughout the day, so
It,
I'm
it,
happy to be here. Coach Gillum, obviously LC, when we go over to the stadium, all of those great coaches are got pictures and stuff up on the wall, man. So I don't have to go far to get advice. I can just talk to Big John over there, man. And then I go out on the field in the hole in Hell Stadium, and I already know all the legends that's played in that stadium. So we're looking forward to all our fans. Both Jackson and our Tennessee State fans, man. This should be a really good weekend. They got a lot of stuff planned out from Thursday. We got a bunch of people going into our Tennessee State Hall of Fame on Thursday. Just a really good deal, man. The bands and that type of stuff, man. Aristocrats of bands, our band, the only band that's won a Grammy. So we're excited about that. Excited for our players, man. And it's about Go Big Blue, man. Looking forward
yeah.
to it.
Is that picture of Big John with a cigar?
This one is not right here.
Oh,
There's
okay.
another one out there, but this picture here is a unique. I can't even explain how it is. You can see him from afar, but once you get close up on him, there's all these different layers or whatever. So whoever did it, man, they did an amazing job. And I sit around with the tree coaches, man, and get all these Big John stories every day after practice, man. So you know about the tree coaches, the guys that sit up under the tree and tell you how you do your job over here. So
I I was a freshman when Big John was on his way out, still coaching Tennessee State. I was the holder because we were headed. I went to Texas Southern and we drove up to Nashville to play them. Right? They
Mhm.
were kicking ass. Right? We were the only school that tied them that year. And here's what I remember about Big John. He was on a damn picnic chair, coaching from the chair. And you remember back in the day, they had them straps on the. He wasn't on a solid chair. It was a damn picnic chair,
Yeah.
and that's what I remember about Big John.
He's the best, man. There's some stories, brother, that they tell me around here, man. I stay laughing at Big John and then the stuff that Gillum did. So I'm just happy and humble, man, that I get a chance to be the head coach here, and looking forward to solid season. And it starts with the first one.
Good luck, Coach.
Yes,
Love you,
sir.
man. We'll
Appreciate you.
talk.
Love you, brother. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for joining us, Coach Barlow.
All right,
We
man.
appreciate you
See
coming
y'all.
on.
And he's a new.
Appreciate y'all, man. We'll see y'all.
All right.
Hey, y'all hold on 1 second. I got to run down and get my plug.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mr. Campbell, well, that was Tennessee State. Coach, Mr. Campbell, were you kind of nervous or something? You didn't even allude to that. I didn't want to steal your thunder, so I didn't mention that the reinvigoration of that FAMU rivalry. Yeah, you're muted. I can't hear you. Can y'all hear him?
Yeah, no, I don't know. My mic mutes by itself. But
Okay.
yeah, one of my fellow Rattlers, I was going, but we had to get in because one thing about it, what happens, especially, and I try to make sure, because these recruiting services, it's hard for people to find out who's playing because of transfer portal, right? So it's very important to me that the coach actually talk about a player who's actually on the team. But no, I did want to talk to them about is renewing the FAMU rivalry. They're bringing Jack State back, and they're actually going to the University of Georgia. And what do you think about that game?
I know what he think about that game. That's a pay game. That's a proverbial money game.
Well, I guess what I mean by that, does he like? Well, I guess he won't. I won't ask him, does he like that? I would ask him, what does he think about that game? Kind of like we did with Coach Mickey when they went to play Ohio State. You know what I mean? Was his thought process about that? How does he coach that type of game?
He got to go pay for the track team, the lacrosse team, the baseball team. That's what those games are about, Coach. You got to go pay. Football to take care of itself, but those other sports, you got to go pay for those other sports, and they use football to do it.
Yeah. Well, like I say, some coaches, they don't like the games, period. I mean, they do it, but they don't like it. So I guess I was just curious about this, especially where it lays out in the stadium.
I'll ask Coach Cole this, because he probably would know better than I would. Tennessee State is playing Georgia in a couple weeks. Are they the kind of program that has to play these money games in order to sustain their athletic program, or can they raise or fundraise and live off of just selling tickets and whatever their athletic program can produce without those money games?
You saying Tennessee State?
Yes.
Yeah, man, Tennessee State, Florida A&M, Jackson State, and the thing that's hurting Tennessee State now is that they don't play enough SWAC or HBCU schools. And so, yes, they got to now produce money games, or unless that you're winning. Of course, my experience was back in 98, 99, and we were selling out, I shouldn't say selling out the stadium, because we played in the big stadium, or we played in the hole, and it was packed. Money wasn't no issue then. Of course, things changed. Jackson State, I just think that schools like Jackson State, Florida A&M, can be more creative about getting people into the stadium, about getting more sponsorship. I think we're lacking on that area. So the new thing now is, let's go hard celebrity coach. You know what I mean? To help bring people in. And guys, guys, I've been in Southern, I've been in Tennessee State, I've been in Texas Southern, I've been in Alabama State, I've been at Lane. I don't think that we have the infrastructure. Number one, I don't think me and Campbell, me and Rocky used to battle about, oh man, they don't take football serious, and I think that got something to do with it. And of course, I know Campbell gonna say, yeah, and the state owed us $2 million or $2 billion, and that is true. But I just think that there are some things that's not in place at HBCU athletic programs that should be in place without naming whoever the coach is. What am I saying? There should be fundraising stuff, Hall of Fame dinner every year. golf tournament for the football coach, golf tournament for the basketball coach, whatever part of the year they put in. You know what I'm saying? Just some things that should be in place. Whatever school or whatever company that the school deals with should be able to give some kickback money to the school. And then the other part, of course, you got to treat your constituents well, and that's why I'm big on hiring your own. Not saying you got to have 100% of whoever graduated there, but you got to be able to have those people there. Hey, guys, it ain't nothing but to me a window of course, when I was in Texas, and I'm long, but when I was at Texas Southern and started getting into the administration and coaching, I would look at schools like Texas and Texas A&M. Of course, we don't have their type of money, but we can have their type of system. What does that mean? Texas would bring Vince Young back and all their players back to have a golf tournament. Of course, we won't make the money they make, Campbell, but any money is better than no money. Anything is to make these alumni feel good and people feel good. They want to come back and give money. I just don't think we do that as HBCU schools. From the president on down, to understand when you're in these positions, you're in a service position, not kiss my ring. You're in a service position. You want to bring and gather and bring people here. And that's one of the big things I probably won't ever see in my lifetime. But again, that's something that I always thought, me and Mr. Campbell had a conversation, about my, what I feel and things. I probably won't ever see a HBCU school just really, really come together and produce and be what we really, really can be. You know what I mean? But that's all my hope and dream, man, that we get athletic director as well as administration. And you guys, we seen Prairie View A&M. They go from 0 and 80 in the 90s to no scholarships, to getting scholarships, to winning the championship in 09. And then now they got one of the best programs in the country because the president, the AD, and the head football coach is all in line. So I know I was long-winded, Coach, but
no, you good. You good, Coach. And that brings
right
us
now,
in.
That's what we need to do. We play money games, and PWIs on our level has been doing this for years. This has been going on since probably the late 70s and early 80s. Get them a big money game. But we also got to ask for the right amount too when you talking about playing the top 10 schools in the country. Right now, Coach, it can't go without $900 or $1 million or more. You know what I'm saying? Don't be giving me no $400,000. Y'all make that on parking.
And that was the one thing that people got mad at the FAMU AD. And of course, and like I say, hopefully I'm gonna get Coach AD Davis on. But I was like, man, FAMU can't be gonna play in Georgia and with bringing the band for $600,000. Are you crazy? And no, after all expense, all we make is $300,000. I don't care if we don't get a dime for Georgia. That just principle alone don't play that. Go get another game.
First, you're a Blue Bread program. Let's get that straight. Respect us. You want us to come in there. You want us to bring us our band, which that's what you want to do. Then pay us.
Gotta pay us.
Hey, Coach, we don't have a full slate of games this week, but I wanna just bring up the games and we could talk about them. And we're going to talk about them in two different sections, right? We could say swag MEAC, all that, but I want to bring them up in two different sections. And this section of the games are the HBCU schools in week 0 that are playing other FCS schools, right?
Right.
And that are not HBCUs. Did you ever think there was a day where Prairie View, Mississippi Valley, and Delaware State was going to carry the flag for HBCUs? Did you ever think that, Campbell and Mr. Coach and Mr. Campbell?
Man, that's a good observation, Rocky. You know what I'm saying? We know you smile in the HBCU face and then hit them in the back with a bat.
No, I don't.
Hey, Campbell, I ain't gonna let it get off. That's the innocent man.
Man, listen, this dude here. This
got
dude,
three of the worst teams in
we had a
HBCU
conversation,
football.
and that dude still asking questions based off not having answered the question. That dude tried to wiggle that thing every week. I'm like, bro, what? Like, he tried his best. We talk about, hey, let's not do this, let's not. And that dude, every time he'll figure out a way. And even when we say don't do it, hey man, listen, man, Coach, you know we really don't like that. I'm gonna do something that only probably me and you and Rocky remember. You remember Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver always get wildly in trouble. That's Eddie Haskell right now. I know you young folks have no idea that's a not analogy, but all those old people know exactly what Eddie Haskell right there, bro.
Oh man,
Hey, Coach.
that was one of my favorite childhood shows.
He testing your honesty, Coach. He testing our honesty.
No,
man.
No,
Them
being
three of
honest
the
with you,
worst
Coach.
teams in HBCU football 20 years, 15 years ago. Shit. They three of the worst teams in football.
But what I'm saying is they're carrying the flag outside of HBCUs. Like they're the schools that on 0 week are gonna represent HBCUs for or with prospective conferences and the HBCU culture. Did you ever think Prairie View, Delaware State, and Mississippi Valley would take on that challenge? You muted, Coach.
Information, man. I gotta get some information. You caught. Man, Stony Brook was 4-4 last year, 6-6 overall. Delaware State was what, 7-4? So that's a good matchup. We all know why Coach Jackson is playing Tarleton State, which is ranked 5th or 6th in the country.
Fifth.
Is that he's trying to prepare his team to go to the playoffs and to really get respect around this country. Not just in black college football, but around this country. So he's opened up with Tarleton State, one of the best schools in the country. And I'm saying this, I won't be just over surprised if he don't upset them. I think they're going to play good, solid football, and they're going to represent our conference well.
Well, Coach, let me ask you a question on that because that was a great question. We broke this down yesterday. The spread is 24.5.
Right.
Why do you think
it's down to 21?
No, well, that's wise guys knowing that the spread was too long, but the spread opened up at 24.5. That's better than money. That ain't got nothing to do.
You're wrong. I'm saying it's moved. That's all I was mentioning. That it moved.
Yeah.
You were
But
right.
it moved because the wise guys think it was too much. That's the only reason. Not that they thought that Prairie View got 3 points better. It ain't got nothing to do with Prairie View. That's Better's numbers. But I'm talking about the initial that they felt on the spread was 24.5, well, even 20 points. Cole, what do you think about that? Even though, again, let's talk about what you just said. Tarleton is number 5 team. They're bringing a lot of FBS transfers in. And you got Prairie View, like you say, Coach said, we got 2 schedules. We got our respect schedule, which is out of conference, and we got our Celebration Bowl schedule, which is SWAC. What do you think about that 24.5, 21.5 point schedule, point spread, Coach?
Well, I'm gonna put my money on Coach Jackson. Guys know he worked up underneath me and he showed everybody who he got. Tarleton State bringing in damn near 20 starters, different starters, is opening up the season. Prairie View is bringing back their set of 2. They got probably about 10 new starters on their group. So they are, and that gives them, for me, some confidence. They were ranked last year one of the best defenses in the conference last year, and you got to score to win the game. You know what I mean? So Tarleton State, even though they have the same philosophy, they bringing in a whole bunch of new guys, and you got to see if they're gonna be able to gel together and see where they can go. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's gonna be no 21 point spread. I think it'll be a little shorter. Again, I'm gonna put my money on Coach Jackson that they're gonna play well in there. They play well against everybody else. And to me, you're looking at 2 teams that's just about the same. One of them played in national championship game, and the other one won their conference. So I'm looking for it to be a good game. I'm looking at maybe, I don't know, 24-10, 21-17. I think it'll be I think it's going to be a good game, and I think it's a great game for Prairie View, for HBCUs to be able to come in here and put a good showing on.
I think it's one of these games where if Prairie View gets good quarterback play in week 1, they can upset Tarleton. right? Because what good quarterback play does, it gives Coach Jackson and his staff an opportunity to manage the game, right? With good quarterback play. Without solid quarterback play, is, in my opinion, it's difficult to manage the game. So I don't think it's a 21-point spread. I look at the game last year. You know, I know what happened last year doesn't have a lot to do with what happened this year, but that was a very good Tarleton team. And the only team I see them beat, you know, the team they beat by 21 points was Houston Christian, and we know how bad they were. You know what I mean? Last year. So and Tarleton State is gonna give up points. Like that's the reality. If Coach Jackson and his staff can put up some points, I think it'll be a very competitive game. And we know what that 212 defense is all about. It's not something that Tarleton State sees every day, and it can affect their ability to push the ball down the field like they'd like to.
Yeah, it's a good thing, too. The guy that's coming back, I can't call his name right now, for Prairie View. I mean, he does. Matter of fact, he started the second game of the year last year, you know, or third game. So he got some experience. He's hearing the same terminology. So you know, it won't be something new for him. As of Tarleton State, they coming in damn near with a new 22. So that'll be interesting.
Well, Coach, I think you just hit it on, but you talked about the Jackson State game. But I think, Coach, you just said, I think this game, and Coach Teddy Keaton talked about this last night. Coach, you said this is going to be a game based on turnovers. And this is one of those ones where if Prairie View doesn't turn the ball over, when we've seen these type of games for some reason, and Coach Keaton talked about it, you talked about it in the past, like for some reason we get out of our zone and not coach like we coach any other game for some reason. So my thing is, can Prairie View hold on to the ball, don't turn the ball over, and then let's see if we can get to the fourth quarter. Again, Tarleton has a lot of turnover, got 2 new quarterbacks that's coming in that are vying for the starting job, 6 players that's total offense that played, 7 on defense, not a lot of return, a lot of guys moved up. So again, I think if you're going to play them first.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you know, he gained a lot of respect. Same thing with Delaware State. I mean, you know, Deshaun is building a program. You know, he ain't playing the top PWIs, but he playing one, you know, with Stony Brook. Give him opportunity to come in there and win football games. You know, one thing about it at the end of the day, the fans, they don't really care. All they care about is wins and losses, first and foremost. You know what I mean? And I think it's a great game for Delaware State to keep things rolling for him. You know, it's one of those games that I think he could go in there and win. Mississippi Valley and Nickel State, you know, I tell y'all guys, when I was at Texas Southern, we would play Nickel State every year. Man, and I hated going down to Thibodeau. It's moist down there in the swamp land. It's moist. It's over cloudy. It's you know, it's cold. It's hot. You know, I just hated going down in there, man. And every time I went down there, you know, I would get a little sick. So, you know, Nickel State, man, it's just something about Thibodeau when you go down in there, man. You just ain't excited about playing. So when I was at Southern University, guys, we went down. No, I'm sorry. They came to us and we were 9-0, and they were 0-9. And man, it was nice and hot the day before. I mean, the morning of or the day before. Man, when they came in there, man, the temperature freaking dropped down to, man, damn 40 degrees, guys. And man, they fooled around and beat us. And we finished that year 10-1 and went on to win the national title. But they beat us, man. Them guys beat us, Nickel State.
And see and that's what I'm talking about, Coach, is that the next frontier for HBCUs is to play these games right here and gain some respect, right? Because obviously you can look at those point spreads and see that there are no respect outside of the HBCU. They don't respect the brand of ball that's being played by HBCUs.
That's true story. And here's the thing. Not only do we have to play them, Coach, it's more so we got to beat them.
Thank you, Coach.
We ain't just got to play them. We got to beat them.
But you can't beat them unless you what?
Get
Play 'em.
coached up, coach.
They got to get on your schedule. So
When,
so
when I was,
go ahead.
when I was at Tennessee State and we played in Ohio Valley Conference, you know, again, you know, I don't have to pat myself on the back. The record speaks for itself. But man, we killed them. The first years, you know, of course, we had to get our program disciplined, make them understand and focus on playing football. And once we were able to do that and get that and having the kids stay for the summer, man, it was taking candy from a baby, man. I mean,
What do you think about this
20.
statement from Adrian Crook?
What you not getting respect from white peoples? Well, I mean, white people like winning too. You know what I mean? Winning ain't no color in winning, coach. Except but green. And every program I've been in, we won. Somehow they found money to pump into the program. So we got to win, man. We got to go in there and beat them at their games. But we just got to do that. And I believe in this lifetime that if we do that, Coach Jackson will get a job. You know, and let me say this too. And some of that is what he's saying is true. In my 40 years, and Campbell, you can think about it while I'm talking. How many black coaches won black titles? How many coaches did beat some of the white schools? Have went on to coach at a white school? And all I know in the SWAC conference is Willie Jeffers, Deion Sanders,
Jerry Mack,
Jerry Mack, and shit.
What about the guy that beat Appalachian State and where did he end up going? The guy that beat Appalachian State at A&T.
You talking Sam Washington?
Coach Washington?
Yeah.
I mean, or Coach.
It had to be
Barlow.
Washington, right?
Well, it don't matter. Neither one of them went on to coach at the.
Yeah, right. They did Washington wrong down at A&T.
Yeah, neither one of them went on to.
Yep, and Broadway retired.
So,
Yeah.
so there you go. Does he have a point? Yes, he has
Well,
a point.
hold on, Coach. Let me say this though. Which again, it was kind of roundabout way. So we're talking about a team. Eddie George is gone to Bowling Green.
Yep, Eddie Jones. I'm sorry, you're right.
Yep, and Willie, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because it was political down at FAMU. If Willie had stayed another year, he still would have got the FIU job. Because Willie would have rolled the SWAC, put up 50 a game, and he would have got the FIU job just the same way. There's no doubt about it. And you got so Willie. So I still count Willie, even though he went to Duke for as a little transfer year, just because Willie was on that track to get a FBS job.
Yeah, well, we hoping you know, all the guys are being on their way. You know, of course, Coach Jack and Coach Eddie and TC Taylor, but you know, of course, we had that talk too, Rocky, that some of the guys don't want to go nowhere else.
Yeah, that's.
It's no way
some
that
guys.
if Chinnisberry was in the OVC and been to the national championship 3 times and has won the conference, there's no way he would be still at South Carolina State. No way.
Coach, but there's
at some mid-major school.
But Coach, this is part of the problem right here, Coach. This is part of the problem. They can play Grambling can play anybody they want to play. Alcorn can play anybody they want to play. South Carolina can play anybody they want to play. FAMU can play anybody they want to play. Pine Bluff can play anybody they want to play. And they play nobody.
All right, so I'm gonna flip that. Guess what all 4 of those games have in common? I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to figure that out.
They in-state rivals.
They're playing at home. That's the thing. No, wait a minute. No, you can't see. This is the thing that I'm gonna do you like I had to do Blue. You can't discount the money because you just said they're going to play Georgia. That's playing for money. When you play at home, you know it's the same money, right? FAMU, so wait a minute. If you add the tickets up, in Albany when we play, they're gonna get 15,000 people down there, times X amount. They're going to make $600,000. These games are, bottom line, like you said, that game is no different than Tennessee State playing Georgia. It's no different. It's the exact same thing.
I
And that's why
disagree.
they're all at home.
I disagree.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. What's the difference between hold on, he say disagree.
Grammy going to Clark?
Yeah.
No, they're not going to Clark.
No, they're going to Clark. If Tennessee State's going to Georgia, that's a money game, right?
Yeah.
FAMU playing Auburn State, what do you think that is?
Again, Campbell, I get the premise behind what you're saying. What I'm saying from a competition standpoint, it's different.
I want you to answer the question. See, what you're not going to do is do that. Answer the question. Is it not the same thing? Yes or no?
Again, it generate, both games generate revenue. I'll give you that. But if FAMU was playing Kennesaw State or Valdosta State or some other school, they would generate revenue at home. They don't have to play Albany State.
No, you missed the point. No, see, let me try to tell you. And coach, you speak on this. This is why do you think, I'm gonna ask you a question. Why do you think Prairie View went to Tarleton first? Tarleton could have came to Prairie View first, right? To your point.
I assume that Tarleton wouldn't give them more than a one-game commitment.
Okay, so now listen to what you just said. You just said Kennesaw State, all these names. That could be that's what happens, Rocky. So again, when you go and somebody just talked about this, and Zoe talked about this is where the thing, and Coach knows this. This is the tricky part of how these schools do. We go, and then all of a sudden next year they're gonna come. Oh, something happened. We getting paid the Power 5, and then we're not coming there. And then we've got a
why
whole
do we keep talking about money when we're talking about competition?
Well, you can't have both. Because you can
have both.
No, you can't. No, see, that's the problem. And Coach explained that to you literally. The problem is these games are scheduled because the money always comes first. The money always comes first. And
okay, there's only 8 mandatory SWAC games, right?
You got 4 of the games.
Yeah, you got 8 mandatory SWAC games. My thing would be you schedule 2 out-of-conference opponents, 1 at home, 1 away, and then you alternate those games each year, so that way you have a marquee out-of-conference game at home each year. There is a way to do it, Campbell, but this is the way they choose to do it. And I'm just saying, this doesn't get you respect. This doesn't get you recognized as a legitimate FCS program.
Well, Coach, I'm just go. This is gonna be I'm gonna die on this hill because again, I can talk about FAMU why this game got scheduled. I can talk about why Grambling got this game scheduled. But I'm gonna say this again: when you're running deficits, what you know what the thing about is, you got Alcorn, and I'm not picking up Alcorn. A couple of years ago, Alcorn didn't even have trainers for their players. Not enough trainers. Let me say this. I don't want to say he didn't have trainers. Not enough trainers. These are the things that you're looking at. You know what? Let me tell you something. What's so funny? We were talking to a coach, and we have literally coaches, and I want to say which. And this was not no D2. This was a deep. Okay, Hampton. Coach Malone and them had to put numbers on the field at Hampton. Okay, think about that. They had to line the field up. You know why they had to do that? Because they don't have the money. They're gonna go pay somebody. The coaches did that.
Well,
so that's what I'm trying to explain to you. When you guys throw that thing out there and it sounds so cut and dry, when the money is so important, and I don't think you guys are, and Coach knows this. Coach has worked in administration, you understand it. The margins are so thin when you come and look at these games. You're going to need that, like I say, to your point about the women's game, that Albany game might be enough to keep the volleyball girls running. Seriously. And it's really, you think about it like that when they recruit. I'm not arguing a point. Do you want to play competition? But I'm going to tell you this again. If you look at all these, they all have the same through line. These are money games for those schools. That's why they're playing those games. You can't deny it.
Yeah, all of them I don't think is money games per se, but I feel you what you're saying. But to me, I think that's why you do have to play. I'm not saying play at Georgia, but I see somebody. That's why you have to, the money games to me would be playing some 1A school, and and I'm pretty sure when I look at these guys, I think Florida A&M can play speaking of Florida A&M, I think they could play a Georgia or some big major school.
We're playing Miami, coach. We're playing Miami.
Yeah, I know. And
no, but you can also play a Georgia.
Make more money with Alabama. I mean, with Albany State coming in. I look at Grambling and Clark. I gotta say, Coach, that is not a good look to me for Grambling playing Clark, Division II team. But I think I see they playing in Atlanta though.
No, that's wrong, Coach. That's wrong. That's AI going wild.
You know that AI be biting Brocky.
Yeah, I see Alcorn and Miles. I don't see Miles traveling to Alcorn.
No, but see, Coach, these games are not. First of all, a lot of these schools don't travel a lot of people. It's not about them bringing a crowd. It's about you having a number in your head. So that Alcorn game, they're gonna get 12,000 people at that game no matter what. Yeah. Would you agree?
Texas Southern and North Carolina Central. I mean, Central got to fly out there. You know what I'm saying?
There ain't nobody from Central coming to that game.
And Texas Southern ain't averaging no whole bunch of folks. You know what I mean?
But again, that home revenue, again, compared to, and that's the reason why, again, that's why I say Prairie View has an event. Prairie View and schools in Louisiana have an event because there are multiple FCS schools where that doesn't cost them any money to go to Tarleton. Zero money. That is no money for them. Now, you don't see them jokers going up to North Dakota State or South Dakota playing. They're playing within their area code. So it sounds good, and I'm not disrespecting T-Jack and them, but when you got schools that are 2-3 hours away, it allows you to schedule those games.
No, T-Jack.
So you mean West Florida?
They staying in hotels on Friday. They going to do it like if it was out of town.
No. What I'm saying is,
I'm talking about the further you go, the more money it costs.
No, I'm saying, but is West Florida less than 3 hours away?
Yeah, West Florida right down the road, down I-10.
I mean, I see why we play, and any AD you talk to too, because I've talked to some ADs. The first thing they say about football revenue in black colleges is that we don't make enough money. You never make enough money to pay for everything. But everything is like scholarships, salary, you know what I mean, travel, of course. You know what I mean? And to me, if we're playing and I'm giving scholarships, I don't think that should count against a budget. But it does, Well,
wait, let me ask you a question. When you say you don't think it, what should it count against then? Because the money has to be paid.
I think it should be counted against academics, just like they give out academic scholarships. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
Well, Coach is saying that academic scholarship doesn't count in charge to the business school or the science department or the biology department. That's not how their scholarships. They don't charge them against those departments.
And I know most states, and I'm of course to talk about Texas, it don't give money to athletics, but you got to be creative. You know what I mean? When we played Western Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, we would come in, right? They would have one side camera would be like you could sit like 15,000 people over there. I'm like, damn. But then the other side have, a few bleachers for the opponents. Well, come to find out, what they were doing was putting the physical education department underneath the bleachers. Well, not bleachers, but stadium, and then that's the physical education stadium.
Well, Florida State, all those schools.
Yeah, they would get money.
Which school are you talking about, Coach? Which school are you talking about?
Eastern Kentucky, Western Kentucky.
Well, and what I'm saying, see,
that was creative to me.
Yeah, Florida State did the exact same thing, Coach. They did the exact same thing. That's how Doak Campbell got renovated.
That's what I was saying earlier. Why not we just repeat it on a smaller level?
Okay, so now I'm gonna answer that question. I'm gonna talk about Florida A&M. See, here's the problem. See, we can't see. This is the thing. Man, I'm too old for us to stop acting like. And I'm sorry, I got to curse. That the shit is being done to us. This is frustrating, Coach. I'll give you an example. Florida State and FAMU in the same city. They did the exact same thing. Florida A&M said, okay, we see the game. We want to do the same thing for our stadium. You know what they said? You ain't got no money for the stadium. We ain't got no money for FAMU Stadium. We said we need more academic stuff. We were going to do the exact same thing. And the state of Florida said no. Jackson State tried to do the exact same thing with, oh, hey, we're going to put a stadium on campus, but we're going to put schools and, all that stuff around it. We ain't got no money. We got to stop acting like this. Hold on. Let me just say this and I'm going to shut up. We got to stop acting like there are forces that stop us from doing exactly what Coach said, because no black school can pull that shit that those white folks pull. And it bothers me when we keep acting like everything's equal. Stop with that. I'm okay. I'm done.
I just don't see why we can't, and I would fight till we can. I would go to court. If you've done this for A, you definitely can do it for B. We're doing the same thing.
Coach, but let me tell you this. And you know what they've done? So that's okay. So here's a perfect example. Every Tennessee State, your school, Southern, Prairie View, FAMU, all those land grant schools are owed $1 billion. They will not let the school sue because the governor won't. The state attorney is not going to let you sue me.
Well, let me talk about Tennessee State, and I don't know. How can you get an indoor facility built, your track redone because of, and they got this big old tower and all that, but yet you don't have enough money to the hole, you know where the hole is, right? Because you've been down in the hole. You mean to tell me you gave them all this money to build the Titan Stadium, and I said, no. Let's take that $2 million and renovate our stadium.
But Coach, okay. So listen,
it's the same thing with Texas Southern. Now we can't even play in the goddamn stadium.
But Coach, okay, wait a minute. You prove my point. Go look at your board of trustees, Coach. That's why. The board does any of them people go to Texas Southern?
No, sir.
Does any of them people care about Texas Southern? So when it's time for the board of trustees to go fight for that,
graduate.
they're not going to do it because they're already bought and paid for. It is happening at all these schools. It is happening at the president's level. So this is the thing that we got to stop acting like this is not. So to your point, if you had a strong board that was actually alumni. Oh no, I hate to say alumni. And they said, no, we're not going to go for this. And because basically you guys are subsidizing a soccer team.
Yeah.
And then what they tell you, and you know what the white man told y'all, Coach? Well, y'all get first pick, Coach. What you complaining about? You get to pick the game first. No, put our shit on our state, on our campus.
Me and you, Coach, talk about leadership all the time. I remember when you first came on this show, you was talking about some of our athletic directors or some of our people that's in control, they need a little more leadership. Of course, we gotten better ADs and stuff now in place with what's going on. But just tell me that man, ain't no way that if there's a way to get it done, that we can't get it done at our level. You know what I'm saying? I just it's hard. And
what did you say, Coach? Wait a minute. You said it. Lionel them said it. It's about alignment, right? The president, the AD, the coach, and then Prairie View is a perfect example. We have joked about Prairie View and talked about Prairie View, but when they got their alignment, all of a sudden we done seen that PV12 everywhere. They're raising money. They're doing things because everybody's in alignment. Now there's a school that's in the state east of them, which I won't name. It's not in alignment.
But see, Coach, it's not. And then look at your school. It's all about hiring the right people too. Man, Greg came in there, Coach. Instantly, y'all raised over $200,000. You know what I'm saying? Tremaine Jackson over there at Prairie View, and they got them going, man. Shit, they talking about getting an indoor facility. But here's the one key that me and you hadn't said. HBCUs are mostly in Republican states.
Well, I did say it.
So you're right in a way that, we up against a fucking brick wall. You know what I mean? To get those things and get that monies that should be going to these HBCU schools. No, we are. Most black schools are in Republican states. What you think, Rocky?
Well, like I say, man, I understand the struggles and that HBCUs have to maneuver in order to get things done. I hear the same thing across on the other side of town, being that there's a private school that, doesn't have the benefit of using public money to do their projects, but somehow they managed to get it done. My only point in saying that is this: you may not be able to do it exactly like someone else did it, but there are elements of the strategic planning that you can take and employ in your organization to get things done. I'm not saying you are and my point is this, right? I'm just saying pick up the phone and call a school where you can play for respect, right? Grambling gets no. How does it help Grambling's brand by playing Clark? They have the biggest brand in HBCU football, and they're opening up with Clark Atlanta. What sense does that make?
Yeah. I can't argue that.
I don't argue the point I guess to me, I'm never going to argue the point about competition, because I will say this again, and EA is in here. Fam, you play anybody, anytime, and Tennessee State did the same thing and beat their ass. White schools. Yeah. We got more playoff wins than anybody else combined. All the HBCUs combined don't have as many as FAMU. So my thing is, I understand that. I came up in there and saw that. But my problem is when I see we had Coach Joseph on here. What did Coach Joseph say? Man, the air conditioning ain't working or something like that. Remember that? It's hot in here. Okay, see, you can't discount that. You can't act like the air conditioning not working at Grambling.
Coach, this is and I'm gonna bring up this point. You have a coach at Alcorn and a coach at Grambling that's, in my opinion, are coaching for their coaching careers, right? And you're supposed to find out what they are as coaches, coaching against Miles and Clark Atlanta. Yeah. You're gonna win those games regardless. And I would want to know what I have in a coach, not just against the SWAC, but also against other competition that is not SWAC. People talk about this deal called SWAC good. My point is this: if you're just SWAC good, how do you grow the brand of your program outside the footprint of the SWAC and outside of just the HBCU community? In my opinion, the appeal that Dion gave Jackson State was not to just the HBCU community. It was to the sidewalk fan, is to everybody that watched. And the way you do that is Prairie View, when they take their butt to Stephenville, Texas, and they put up 40 on Stephenville, everybody in the state of Texas, that's going to be on the front page of every newspaper.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, I'm glad you said that. And people in the chat, go look at Tarleton's budget, go look at Prairie View. I'm going to ask you a question. If Prairie View had that $2 billion that the state of Texas had, you think Prairie View wouldn't go up there? Because they would have NIL. They can pay all them players, just like Tarleton. They will have the best weight room in the state of Texas. And I tell you something, shit would get real funny real quick. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You give Prairie View $2 billion, I will say this again. And this is my last thing. Give Prairie View they $2 billion, give Southern they $2 billion, give A&T they $2 billion, give Alcorn they $1 billion, and give FAMU they $2 billion. I'm telling you, any FCS school will have to come see us.
Let me ask you this, and then I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up after this. Did Billy Joe have $2 billion? Did Eddie Robinson have $2 billion?
No, sir.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm glad you said that.
That's what I was going to get to.
Okay, I'm glad. No, hold on. I'm glad you said that. Let me tell you. Wait a minute, because let me tell you something. See, because you told somebody that knows. Go looking back when the budgets were the same, because the budgets have increased. You know what happened? FAMU was actually getting funded halfway back during then. You do realize there's a change at a certain point. Well, we had athletes going to the NFL. Now we can't. Why do you think that is, Rocky?
Coach, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say one name about Florida A&M. Not just all the badass football coaches, the head coaches they had. It was a president named Coach Humphrey. That was a bad boy.
Come on, man. That's called alignment. Coach, you better tell them.
Coach,
that's called alignment.
Y'all got a stadium when they didn't have no stadium. Y'all won a national title when none. Because
you know what? Let me tell you.
That's why I know it can be done. when you got the right people in leadership and in line with everybody.
Let me say this. Hutch, I'm glad you watch these shows, and I respect that. But let me tell you something. Stay in your lane. Because if I'll tell you what, you go to work every day. I'm pretty sure you're very successful. And I guarantee, and what if your paycheck, I took half of it? And I did that for 20 years. Would that be a fantasy? I bet you'd be mad as hell. So stop running your mouth, because if that happened to you, you'd be cursing. If somebody took half your paycheck every week, you wouldn't be talking that. So stop acting like I'm making this up. Come on now.
Well,
This fact, my boy.
The only thing I'm saying, Steve, and we can move on and finish, and pick the game.
Yeah.
My only point is that the next frontier of HBCU football is to become relevant, right, at the FCS level from being a respectable program. Once people can start opening up the paper and seeing that whether it be Tennessee State, FAMU, Prairie View, whatever, they're competing against those other schools at their level. Because when they compete this is what I'm saying, when they compete with those schools at their level, they're going to get an illumination that the rest of that HBCUs hadn't gotten in a long time. If people wake up on August the 30th and Prairie View has put 40 on Tarleton, you know what that's going to be in the state of Texas. You know what kind of headlines they're going to be. You know what that's going to do to social media.
Why do you think that spread?
All I'm saying is this, guys. I lived it, and I've done it. I've done it with very little, like Coach Jackson was saying before about it's time out for taking a little and doing a lot. It is time out.
Yeah, I'm tired of that.
We went 21-1 in the OVC in 98 and 99. We lost one game to those schools. One game to Martin, all of them. One game. And it was a money difference then. Our stadium was tore up. They didn't really want us to play there, but we beat all the PWI schools. Not 1 year, 2 years in a row. And then went on to Alabama State and beat UT Chattanooga. We beat the hell out of them. They got beat by West Virginia State before us. We came to play them. They like, oh man, we got this game. Shit, we hung 40 on them. This ain't a pat on my back. This is saying it's about leadership. It's about being able to copycat. We can't do what they can do at that level, but we can have those things in place. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Rocky, I'm gonna say one thing. This to your point, and I listen. I think every school that really has pride, and like Tennessee State ain't never had no problem playing nobody. And this is forever in their history. FAMU ain't had no problem playing. Grambling had no problem playing anybody. But that's the reason why it's things that I know that I'm working on, because we have got to even the playing field. To your point, Coach, we can't wait no more. We can't wait no more.
It's leadership, Coach. When I went to Tennessee State, Coach, they had 9 losing seasons when they joined the OVC. They would get slaughtered, Coach, for 9 seasons. From the time in 1990 or something when they joined the OVC, they would get slaughtered till we got there. You know what I mean? Of course, it changed around. It's the leadership. It's the person that's in place, and I just feel it because I've been a part of it. I went to Lane, guys. I fucking painted my own field, but it's the person in place. Coach Humphrey, I remember first time I ever seen a president get in the goddamn middle of the field on the 50-yard line and got the mic and turn around to the fans and say, the floor them. Well, you know what I'm talking about? Strike,
come on, man.
Strike again. That's a leader that's in the house, Coach. And we got that's how it can be done. I'm tired of it can't be done. White folks. We don't need white folk. We can get it. And I'm not saying let me take that back. If we go there with a plan, Coach, I think we can get what we need and what we want. But we got to ask for it. We can't be taking these games to Georgia and ask for 600,000. No, we want $1 million. We won't just what Alabama played Georgia State the other year, about 4 or 5 years ago when Saban was there. Gave him $1 million just to come across the bridge. But what we'll get, give us 300, 400,000. And then everybody want to go. You know what I mean? The plane is full of a bunch of free flights. We got to be, and I think the ADs we got in place and all this new things that I think we coming around and moving our conference in the right direction. I think our commissioner is doing the right things with the SWAC TV, and hopefully, man, that will move us, and bounce us to doing great things for these young kids that's coming up.
And I wanted to also say this about this graphic that I bring up. I wanted to commend Tennessee State and Jackson State, North Carolina Central, and Texas Southern, Morgan State, and A&T, and so on and so forth, for at least, at the very least, picking up the phone and playing a legitimate competition on your level week 0. Week 0 is to me a prime time for a program that wants eyes on them, because there's not a full slate of games. And if you have a great matchup, you can just think how that FAMU or even like this, that South Carolina State and Grambling game. Just think about how that game would ring out amongst the HBCU community. And so my point is saying that I understand the money, Mr. Campbell, but I'm just really commenting from a competition standpoint, in that the next frontier is to gain respect from schools outside of HBCUs, and you do that by playing the schools and, like Coach Cole said, and winning the games.
I just believe I've seen some people make some comments, man. We're not asking anybody to give us anything. I think you take what you have and you make the best of it, and then you be creative. I mean, Campbell, you're a fundraiser guy, and man, you talk off all the time. And when you go in them rooms that you go into, and not saying or naming any of them, you going in there with I'm going in there and I'm acting like I'm the boss. I ain't going in there acting like I'm a master. A master, you go in there and say, I want what they want. And I guarantee you, man, you can get what you want and move those football programs forward, man. And I believe that you can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I guess me and Coach, I'm gonna tell you what I look at. It's kind of funny. And Doug Williams talked about this. When we were really, this was funny what you just said. And Doug Williams said this. When we were really good, they didn't want to schedule us. They didn't want to play us. They wouldn't play us. Matter of fact, Coach Robinson said, I can't go play them guys because we beat their ass. And what he said, the legislature ain't gonna give us no money. Doug Williams said this on this show. So see how the things flip? Oh, the competition. Why they want to talk about competition then? Right. Jackson State went down, and this is before they had the rule, because there was no rule for you. Now you can't go, FBS can't go to FCS. There was no rule back then. Jackson State took their ass down I-49, should have beat Southern Miss, with Brett fucking Favre, and them some bitches wouldn't come up that road. They wouldn't come up that road the next year, because they knew it would be 60,000 in that vet with more NFL players than down in Southern Mississippi. See, back then, what about the competition then? Fam, you won the 1AA championship. Jackson State was on the same side of the bracket. Yeah. What am I talking about for the white folks competition? Now it's a competition. See, it's always good when white folks can flip it. But when we was whooping their ass, they wasn't calling our phones. Come on, let's play competition. Yeah. See, don't play me.
Let me say this. Of course, the game have changed a little bit now, but when Alabama was kicking everybody's ass every year, he's in the national championship, and Oregon and these people that he beating the hell out of, and they got all the money, all the stadiums, these great places. How can Nick Saban continue to win every year? And they were doing the same thing. If y'all want to say Nick was paying somebody on the table, they were doing the same thing. How was Alabama every year beating somebody's ass? Because the leadership. Because of the leadership. You know what I'm saying? Look up. Now everything is all shaking up a little bit. It's because of the leadership. And we can do the same thing at our level and be real strong on the FBS level. And like now, ain't no way that Prairie View in Jackson State shouldn't be ranked somewhere up in the top 10 in FBS right now. Shit, man, they play national championships. They put the numbers up. And how do you not have, I don't care if they come in and lose every game, how do you not have Prairie View sitting up there somewhere? They finished number 3 in defense, number 1 in pass defense, and played in national championship and got a national championship coach. And you don't rank them up in the top 10. Jackson State, shit, coach, they've been right there for the last 5-6 years. And you don't even got them ranked nowhere in the top 20. Man, that ain't right. It ain't right.
And coach, and they send Mississippi Valley, Prairie View, and Delaware State to go defend the honor of the SWAC.
Yeah. They just send the SWAC ain't got nothing to do with that.
No, you understand. You understand the point I'm making, Campbell.
I'm saying, but you acting like the SWAC say y'all go do it. Jackson State choose not to play those games. And they tell you why. And see, this is the thing about it. Jackson State. You know what's so funny, Coach? Tell me if I'm right or wrong now, Coach. As big as Jackson State brand is, you gonna tell me that people not call Jackson State to say, hey, come on, we'll give you $2-3 million come play? They don't have to.
Go and with Jackson State, you can play home and home.
You think?
Shit. You can play home and home.
I don't. So here's the problem with Jackson State that I do respect. I do respect this for Jackson State. There's no win for them to go home and home with let's say South Dakota State or whatever. I wouldn't give up a home game to go play that game, and I agree with that. But guess what they did this year though, Mr. Campbell? They gave up a home game and decided not to play a game.
So what home game did they give up? What home game did they give up?
They're playing 11 games.
Okay, but what home game did they give up? You're talking about not scheduling.
They could have a home game, and they decided not to play one.
Well, that's your number. That was your number one AD.
I know. I know that.
That's no Ashley though. Ashley chose not to do that.
Y'all gonna get in trouble.
But I'm just saying, this ain't no disrespect. Ashley knows why he did. Ashley was the one that makes the schedule. He knows that. He could have. Listen. Hey, listen. You asked why they're not playing the 12 games. That's not because of osmosis. Ashley Robinson determined for whatever reason that they couldn't find. And I'm gonna tell you why. Ashley Robinson's smart. Because one thing about Jackson State, because you know what that 12th game probably would have been? When he looked at it, it probably would have had to be a money game. And Jackson State just doesn't play money games.
You don't mean on September 12th, they couldn't got a game against Mercer or Sanford or anybody like that at home?
Hey, listen, there's a reason why. And then you said September 12th, when they got an open date on September 12th or something?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why Jackson State would miss a home game knowing that they average about 20.
Well, that's the thing, what everybody at Jackson said. But my point of it is to schedule. Okay, first of all, let's look at their schedule. They're playing week 0 already.
Right.
So they're already starting early, right? Now, my question is that game, which will be a bye week, who do they play the following week? That would be question 2. Maybe it's set up like that to have a bye week.
Right.
So I don't know.
What I'm saying is,
I'm just want to say this. I want to be clear. When you say competition, and I think this is where we get schizophrenic as HBCU. There's no. Listen. That game. If anybody watched Sipping on Sundays on a Monday, so Phillips coach Teddy Keaton, my big game was that game. You know why that was my big game? Because of the exact reason. Because of competition. Because I want Prairie View. I want to see the game. I want Prairie View to play well. If Prairie View loses, I'm not going to be mad at it. I want them to show a good, respectable showing to say, you know, even with one arm tied behind our back, we're going to give these boys hell up in Tarleton. But I also know the trajectory that Tarleton's been on because I told people years ago that Tarleton was getting ready to go FBS. My boy's son played down there, and they were already talking about it. They're already moving the money and things like that. So that was my big game of the week. Because to your point, I want to see competition. I want to see FAMU play. Like I say, we played Georgia Southern, we played Mercer, we played Troy, we played all these schools. All of them are moved up, but we played them.
I want to say to Ed Beefield, 1914, he said he don't think that Prairie View should have been ranked in the top 10. Here's my problem with that. All that stuff ain't number predictions anyway. Ain't none of it
ain't none of it real.
Ain't none of it real. All is what we think. So what you saying, just like, and that's what's wrong with us, sometimes black folk. You know, what you saying is we not our best in HBCU or second best at HBCU can't be ranked in the top 10 in the FBS when I don't play for the national title.
Well, then that's like a point, coach, to get the top 10. I tell you one thing. Well, what do you think having Prairie View beat Charter? What do you think they're gonna be ranked then?
Shit, 21.
Yeah, that was a joke, though. I knew you were gonna say that.
Between Jackson State win every year, Florida A&M win every year. You know what I mean? Now Prairie View has been winning. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, they have.
You know what I mean? And you can't be ranked in the top.
But coach, let me say this: if Prairie View beats Charleston State, come back and defeats Stephen F. Austin, they immediately ascend to the #1 FCS program in the state of Texas.
I bet you 200 to your $1 that won't happen.
What do you mean?
If they come in and win, and they're gonna be pushed up to the #1 FBS.
No. What I'm saying is they are the #1 FCS school in the state of Texas. If they win those 2 games, it's not debatable. We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to go back and forth with them. You understand?
You know they didn't invite none of them to the coaches convention, the Texas high school coach convention.
Now the issue comes in is, will they be able to get those games again if they do win? And I hope they do. Yeah. But you know, at the end of the day,
I gave you a history lesson that said they don't. I gave you that history lesson, and Jackson State lost and didn't get the game. No, yeah. They don't want that, man. They listen, man. I'm gonna tell you something. If we were living in a fancy world and everything was nice and everybody was right, you know what? Let's play them. Because like I said, when it wasn't like that, and we were getting the athletes that we used to get, then yeah, we were beating them.
But I think this is a problem. This is part of the problem, and then we can go ahead and pick the games and get out of here. But my point is this: the #1 2 years ago, the #1 team in the West, the team that went 7-1 in the West, lost by 40-something points to a Nichols team that won 1 game that year.
That was Southern University, the shirt you got on.
So, yes.
That sounds like a Southern problem.
So my point is saying this is when we do have those games, we have to have a better showing. And thanks for recognizing my shirt, man. I'm wearing this shirt not only to represent Southern, but more importantly, to represent my family member, my nephew who recently passed, Sean Rose, man. He was a Jaguar through and through, man, and I'm wearing this shirt to represent him tonight, man. It was tough for me and my family to put him to rest on Friday, and I just thought I would put on this shirt today to commemorate him. And fortunately enough, Mr. Campbell and Coach Cole got a chance to meet my nephew and spend some time with him while in Atlanta last year. So much love and RIP to my nephew Sean, man. But as I was saying that, I was saying that to say that Southern was the best of the West. Coach said the best of the worst. I'm not gonna say that, but was the best of the West and got beat by 49 points by the last place team in the Sun Belt. Is that the Sun Belt or the Southland? Or I can't.
The Southland Conference.
Southland. And so that's what happens. We cannot let that happen over and over again. We can't let that happen, and I'm trusting that.
But the thing about it, though, Rocky,
wait a
minute. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Even that year, and I'll have to go back and look. Was Southern really the second best team in the SWAC? No, they weren't. They might have been fourth.
No. I said they were the best team in the West.
Yeah, but they weren't even they might have been the fourth best team in the conference. That's just how bad the West was.
I can't argue that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you got to be careful when you make that comparison because the West wasn't good with all the teams over in the East with FAMU, Jack State, and Alabama State. And I don't know if Alabama State played Southern that year because I know if they got one loss, they had to beat us. That was a conference game because we ain't lost to Southern.
Yeah, I think y'all were the only loss.
So
well, we'll see. I mean, I know Trey Oliver. He beat PWI schools all the time. So
all the time, big money, Trey.
So we'll see how the season goes.
So of this last group of games, the ones at the bottom, do you see any potential upsets in these D1 HBCU D1 D2 matchups?
No, not even close. Not even close.
So Albany State won't get their coach back.
Of course not.
I was gonna say Morehouse. I thought that.
Hold on. I'm glad you said that, Coach. Listen. Now, okay, Carl, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'm not being disrespectful. You know who the coach they got. You know what he's done. You know who Coach Hampton. Would you not say that at worst that's a push and maybe advantage Morehouse from the coach's standpoint?
Yeah, if he can come in there, man, and
but I'm just talking about just pure coach, and this ain't nothing because this man has won conference championships. So I'm telling you, I mean, they're not going to do it because D-Law, I mean, I wouldn't disrespect them like that. But if any one of them, it would be that game.
Well, man, it's hard to win over at Morehouse, Coach.
Yeah, they're
playing Little Rock.
Huh?
They're playing in Little Rock.
Yeah. Now he talking about the program.
No, I'm saying the program.
Oh, okay.
I mean that facility, man, and academic wise, you got to be strong, and man, it's tough. It's tough over there. One of my guys was the head coach over there for about 12 years, and he was pretty successful, but just couldn't get over the hill. Shit, he stayed over there almost 12 football season. And it's tough, man. Them academic, paralysis, I would say, shit, it's tough. But
this comment right here took me out.
He playing a beatable SWAC team.
Now, Blue made a point here that a very good FAMU team, even though they weren't conference champs or anything, that a very good FAMU team that we thought was very good went to Sealay and got put on.
I don't think anybody from FAMU. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I think even Willie said that, but I don't think we should have lost as much as we did because we got that was the one. That's the only game I ever saw Willie just get out coached. That was the one game that I think that even him, for whatever reason, we got out coached.
Y'all blamed it on Rashawn McKay though.
I know I'm not gonna blame Rashawn McKay when they did those fake punts and stuff because that was coaching. No, sir. I'm definitely not gonna blame it on Rashawn McKay. Now Rashawn McKay was a game manager, and that's what he was. That's why he didn't come. That's why he didn't start the next year because Willie wanted somebody that could throw the ball down the field.
Yeah, let's just say that don't say out coach, just say better prepared. That's
yeah, well, no, it's no problem. Better prepared. I mean, listen, man. Sometimes it happens. I mean, I'm not disrespecting. I mean, Willie's he's coaching at FIU because he's a great coach. I'm saying that was the one game that anybody that watched FAMU that we were kind of baffled. So what was the word you used, Coach? Better. They were better prepared.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the one time we've ever seen somebody better prepared than Willie.
Yeah, gotcha. Well,
so this is an interesting deal. Let's pick those 5 games and then we'll get out of here. Coach, who you got on this Alabama A&M Howard game? I'll tell you this: Howard is a 2-point favorite, if I'm not mistaken.
They were 2.5, depending on where you looked at it.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That's disrespectful.
They got White over there, great coach, great young coach, ready to get it going. But I see Alabama A&M, and this is why. Defense always be in front of offense. But once Coach White get his troops going, he's going to be hard to be reckoned with. I don't know if, he can come out and put up the numbers that I know he can put up. So I'm gonna go with defense on this one. I'm gonna go with Alabama A&M.
All right, I'm gonna take A&M as well. Campbell, who you got?
I just, this was the most disrespectful spread. I thought the Tennessee State Jack State spread was disrespectful, but you've got a coach that is
Did
in
you
year
take
two.
Did you take A&M on this game?
I would take A&M, but they got Howard favored.
Oh, you thought that was more disrespectful than this next one we finna do?
Well, yeah, because no, listen what I'm about to say. Because Sam Shade is coming back year two. He's got a quarterback that's coming back. Howard was in disarray last year. Ted White's coming in brand new. He came in, he didn't come in early. So my thing is to what Sam Shea, I believe what kind of coach he is, what he's bringing back, them going in and Howard with a new coach and them being in disarray last year, a 2-point favorite. Yeah, that is crazy.
Coach, let me ask you this: Does the wise guy and the sharps think the MEAC is just a better conference?
Well, I tell you what, Cleo. Well, here's the thing.
Because you got the same guys that picked Howard to come in last are the same guys that have him as a 2-point favorite.
That's what I'm saying. But history has shown that the MEAC has won more games than the SWAC MEAC Challenge.
Well, let's move.
All right. Alabama State versus Southern.
Alabama State all over them.
Yeah. And I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them minus the 19 too.
Yeah.
So you're gonna say it's gonna be big, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
So you know what, Coach? Let me ask you a question. We talked about this. I asked Coach Keaton about this. Do you guys, as a coach, hear that the spread is X points? Do y'all? And I want you to be honest. Now that you're not coaching, not to say that you bet on it, but did you say when you looked at the pay? Wait a minute, and you're coaching Southern, and they got you down by 20. Do you guys even look at that, Coach, at all, or know it?
No. But unless you don't look at that. You know what I mean? And of course, if it even was, I paid a lot of attention to it. I had to spray it. You know what I mean? Except for in Lane College, and I don't think they do D2. But no, you don't look at that as a coach. You go in and feeling real good. Of course, when you play in the big schools, you kind of come in and with the ideal that, my whole thing was when I played the Division 1A school was to keep the score down. So we wouldn't snap the ball to 5 seconds on the clock. So that was my deal.
I just think that when you sit back and Rocky, you know what I think I'm gonna do on this. I'm gonna have a what I call quote unquote Mike Vick tracker for Marshall Faulk, because this thing here coming out the gate and you get blown out, and then I know what's coming up on their schedule. Now I think Perry counted 4 wins. I think they play like 2 D2s or something. I think he counted Pine Bluff. I think he counted Valley or something like that. So Perry said it's 4 automatic, right? I hear you, but all I'm saying is I'm going to have the Mike Vick tracker, because you're going to come in. And again, I know Alabama State, they're picked to win the conference. I understand that. But that's going to be pretty interesting to me to see how they bounce back and make sure they, if that happens, because we don't know what's going to happen. Southern could come out there and win that game, because like I said, until they play, we won't know. But I'm going to be doing the Mike Vick tracker on this one.
I'll just say this. I don't think Southern is going to be as talented as Norfolk State was last year. I don't think that's the situation.
Okay, Mike Vick's tracker
they lost the defensive end because they changed that rule. The 2022 rule that those kids was gonna come back and play. I heard they had changed the rule.
Yeah, they changed the rule, but Marshall Faulk say Kelby's good, and his lawyers say they can play him.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think most of those guys are okay, but I know some, and Blue, shout out to Blue, was on Sipping on Sunday. He says several schools are going to hold those kids out because they don't want it to come back and bite them, and then they're ineligible.
Right,
so we'll
right.
see. We'll see if these kids play these first couple of games.
But he's probably going to say he's going to play, even if he's not going to play him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jackson State had 2 too, right?
They got more than that. They just got another 3 that just came back. And Nate Rembers, I think they got a total like 6 guys right now or more.
But they not eligible right now.
No, they are eligible.
Well, how could someone be eligible and some of them not eligible?
Well, the guys. So now you're not talking about the NFL guys, are you, Coach? Because that's a different thing.
No, I'm talking about the 2022.
No, these guys, they all came. They've got the injunction, the 3 guys from Jackson State, because I just saw that, because that was one thing I got to research, because Zoe talked about it on the show a little bit, and I've kind of looked at it more. But those guys, Nate Rembers is back, so like they got the injunction. So yeah, they said they are. Listen, shout out to official lady, thank you.
There's been another ruling where they got a stay on the injunction. There hasn't been a final ruling, but they did get a stay. Is that correct, Campbell? From what I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I told people, injunction doesn't mean that the lawsuit is gone.
No.
That's what people need to understand. And that's why I think what Blue was talking about. Say, hey, Blue, let me ask you a question. You're in the chat. Did you not say a lot of those coaches are going to be very careful and not play these guys because if the injunction gets overruled, that they're going to hold those guys out? So we'll see if Blue answers that.
And I don't think. Do you think the NCAA would punish the schools if they play the kids under injunction? That doesn't seem like fair.
Well, no, because all the no. Let's understand. I had to explain this to Zoe. All that means is a pause on the case. If the case goes their way, it's just like you get an injunction. You sue me, right? And you sue me for money. I don't pay you the money, but if you win that case, I owe you that money. So what it means is the penalty will be upheld and it's retro back. Yeah. That's what that people is. People got to understand that.
Okay, last 3. Let's get on through it. This was an interesting game for me. I didn't realize this game was the first is in 0 week. I think this is a big game for Coach Gibbs and a measuring stick for his program. He wasn't very good last year, and Morgan has struggled somewhat under Coach Wilson. I think this is a great measuring stick game for A&T, but I'll take Morgan State in this game.
I'll be real quick, man. This is a big game for head coach at Morgan State. He got to win. I think he's got to win it. I think if he loses to A&T, that shows that A&T is advanced further than they have. It's a big game for Morgan State, more so than A&T.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick Morgan State.
What about you, Campbell?
Woo. Well, if you're picking Morgan State, that's not good for Coach Gibbs, I'll tell you that. Hey, listen, this coach, you hit it right on the head. For both of these coaches, this is a huge game. And I will say more so for Coach Wilson because he has underperformed at Morgan. And this is a game that team should win because A&T has not shown any fight the last 2 years, and I don't think they've gotten any better this year. So I'm going to go with you, Coach, but I'm going to tell you this. This is another one that's going to be on that Mike Vick watch of how many games they're going to win and with Coach Gibbs. And mind you, Coach Gibbs –
Both teams.
Both teams. And the thing about it is, Coach Gibbs got paid a lot of money to be the coach in North Carolina A&T. And trust me, people going to week after week are going to talk about that.
Right.
All right, Coach. We're going to your alma mater, which I consider the second best game of the week, HBCU matchup, which is Trey Alvarez coming all the way to the great state of Texas to take on those TSU Tigers in a high school stadium.
Yeah, both teams maroon and gray. That's about all I can say. But my football mind say North Carolina Central. Outstanding head coach. Texas Southern still trying to find a way, and we really see if that 6-5 is for real. Of course, you always got athletes at Texas Southern.
What about you, Campbell?
Listen, man, everybody knows I'm a big Trey Oliver fan, but I'm going to tell you this, and this is the thing about it. Chris Dishman is a type of guy that is a realist. He knows what it is. I'm going to tell you this. I think this game is going to be much closer to what I think a lot of people think it might be. And I'm going to tell you this. If Texas Southern can pull this off, this sets them up pretty good just for us confidence. This is what I call one of my Celebration Bowl watch games, even though it's not for any conference, but it's about confidence going into the schedule. And I'll tell you this. I'm going to take North Carolina Central, but very close. But I tell you what, if Texas Southern can get it done, I think that bodes well for them going into the SWAC play.
I just want to make this point. Texas Southern is one of the highest paying jobs in HBCU football. I don't know where Trey Oliver is ranked among HBCU coaches, but I know they have some good barbecue down in Texas. They also have some good Cajun food down there in Texas. And I do know this, that if NCCU has a good showing against Texas Southern, that's somewhat of an interview right there in front of Ashley Robinson, in my opinion, live and up front. And I'm sure, that's something that A.D. Robinson will take note of, because he's getting an up-close look at one of the best coaches in HBCU football. What do you think, Coach?
That's always a look at it. My man coming up on his third year, Coach Dishman, he got one more year. He has a 4-year contract. So,
okay,
he come out with another winning season, it'd be tough getting rid of it.
Okay. Do you? I hope TSU has a good showing against North Carolina Central, because I think it's a way you can measure Coach Dishman's program by how well they play in that game. To be honest with you, first game of the year against what I would consider a top 3 HBCU program, I think.
Right.
You get a close look. But we'll move on to the.
Rocky, hold on. I just want to make one quick point. Coach, listen, and shout out to Coach, because you know what? A lot of people been misrepresenting that. So everybody's like, oh, which he can do it. But hold on. But the thing about it is, Coach is right, because I even thought that he only had a 3-year like a lot of guys, and that no matter what happened, that depending on what it. But Coach is right. He's got a whole nother year. That makes a big difference on a couple of things.
Absolutely.
So shout out for Coach correcting everybody on that.
Right.
Absolutely. The other thing is, again, I think with that other year on his contract, it gives Ashley Robinson the time to get settled in the program and build a relationship with Coach Dishman as well. So it may work out well for Coach Dishman having that extra year on his contract. And this is the marquee game in my point in the HBCU community. These are 2 titans that are going head to head in Nashville. And I want to commend Jackson State in this regard. They decided to get on the road and play in Nashville at the John Merritt Classic. Again, that's a lot better. That's a lot more than other schools are doing this opening weekend. I'll go ahead and give my pick. I got, even though we had Tennessee State head coach on here earlier tonight, I have to take TC Taylor and Jackson State in this situation right here. They're generally just way too talented, and they play really good football under Coach Taylor.
I got Jackson State. I mean, their program been together. Even though TC Taylor wasn't the head coach, he was there during those winning years. And of course, when he took the program over, they hadn't fell off none. Barlow behind the 8 ball, but he will get his team there. I got Jackson State.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. Jackson State is bigger, going to be much bigger on both sides of the line. But I will say one thing that I think is important. Dalen Lee has more starts than Gerald Lockhart. And having an experienced quarterback, an all-conference type quarterback, I told about all the speed guys and preseason all-conference guys that clearly that they think Tennessee State has at the wideouts, the tight end, running back. You got a guy that's not going to get rattled in Lee. So my thing is, that's why I don't think this is 20 points. Jack State is a better team overall, but here's the thing, and Coach, you know this. Freshmen have to become sophomores, and sophomores have to become juniors. And this is the thing about it. Now, this is Lockhart's team, but Lee has played a whole lot of football, and if they get that thing going down there, well, a play breaks wide or an interception because he's young, Lockhart is young, and forces the ball down the field, this could be interesting, but I'm still taking Jack State.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Hey, Rocky, I think he's making 317 and probably a little bit more now.
I put in the chat, Coach. He getting.
Oh, yeah.
I put in the chat what he's getting. He's got 4 years, 313,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably about. Hey, coach, that's pretty good, coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making just about what a McKinney was making, but with more wins. So, you know, McKinney had what 12 wins in 5 years, coach.
Man, McKinney ran off with grand theft money, man. He not only had in his contract that I think he gets $15,000 of the Division 1A team that if he played, and he would play 2 every year, so that was extra 30. Yeah.
Coach Disman gonna show y'all something. Coach Disman said, "Man, listen, y'all better respect, hey man, because he that type of guy, man. He was that type of player.
But
disrespect him."
But this is what I'll say, coach. It's about time that Coach Dishman gets a signature win. 3rd year in his program, he has to get a signature win. He's had several opportunities to record that signature win, and he hadn't been able to get over the hump. This is another opportunity for him to get a signature win, and we'll see how he does against one of the HBCU top coaches in Trey Oliver. So, with that being said, guys, this has been another great show. We won't have to talk about last year no more because we'll have games to talk about, man. I can't wait, man. I absolutely cannot wait to watch the game this year. I'm ready to see Andrew Body. I'm ready to see Jackson State. And, of course, I'm ready to see Prairie View and Charleston State get it on Saturday night. So I'm going to get out of here and y'all can wrap us up.
I'm gonna do it real quick, Coach, and I'm gonna get out of here. Hey man, tomorrow, D Breakdown is back. Mike Reed. Guess what? Who's gonna be in the captain's chair? No, it ain't gonna be Mr. Campbell. It's gonna be Rockies. It's gonna be being the co-host. And guess what? You know Mr. Campbell with the wing count. I'll be around there keeping Rocky straight. So it'll be Rocky, Mike Reed, and myself tomorrow. D Breakdown, 7 p.m. Come on, man. Off script channel. I don't know if Rocky's gonna do a simulcast. Let's just do a simulcast. Get everybody. And then you know what? I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Jackson State University and Tennessee State. I got some VIPs coming to the game. They take real good care of my people and stuff like that to help HBCUs. So shout out to both those fine universities because I know folks and folks take care of you, man. Coach, on you.
Appreciate you guys. Continue to follow us. We still trying to bring all the information into your living rooms. I like all the comments. Of course, we need to have an open room for calls as well. Keep on hitting that like button, man. And as I say, things happen in life. If you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot and hold on tight because ain't nobody bad like you.